triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew during today's game. This place is just as loud and electric as it was yesterday. I'm sure a lot of the people that are here today couldn't get a seat for yesterday, so they will make this place just as loud as it was last night when we heard 44,093 screaming at the top of their lungs. This crowd, though, has a chance to see a clincher, and we'll see what we get tonight. Phillies and Mets, Game 4. We are ready. So is the Hall of Fame radio voice of the New York Mets. Here's Howie Rose.
All right. Thank you very much, Keith. So Jose Quintana gets set to go to work, and he was absolutely brilliant his first time out in what turned out to be the clinching game over the Milwaukee Brewers. He certainly did his job with those 6 scoreless innings, allowing 4 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts, with the Mets coming back dramatically to win in the 9th inning with 4 runs. So right here, he will face left-hand hitting Kyle Schwarber to lead off, and then Trey Turner, and then Bryce Harper, as we wait for the go-ahead, and we just have received it from the network stooge, so we're good to go as Quintana staring straight in at Alvarez, facing Schwarber. And Quintana with a right leg kick delivers the first pitch of the game. It's in for a called strike, the fastball, 0-1. Schwarber 2 for 12 in the series with a home run, which he delivered in the very first game. But the Mets have done a really good job in terms of, for the most part, neutralizing them. The 0-1 on the way, a breaking ball outside, and the count 1-1 strike. And yet Schwarber, who struck out 197 times this year, third most in the National League, he's only punched out 3 times in 14 plate appearances. For him, that's pretty good. They play him to pull in the outfield, lefty against lefty, and the 1-1 on the way. Foul back to the screen, a fastball, and it is 1-2. Quintana allowed lefties to hit 24 points higher against him than the righties did, and Schwarber hit 300 against lefties this year, way above his career norm. Fans are up and waving their towels. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing on a chopper, slowly hit up the first baseline, but it kicks foul. And it remains 1-2 on Kyle Schwarber. Turner on deck, Harper to follow. Quintana 1-2 during the regular season against Philadelphia with a 3.53 earned run average, but over his last 7 starts, he was outstanding, including the one in Milwaukee, a 0.64 ERA in that stretch. Now the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a slurve and had Schwarber badly fooled and way out in front. So 1 up, 1 down, and it'll bring up Trey Turner. The Mets defensive alignment is sponsored by Orland & Cohen Orthopedic Group. Experiencing orthopedic pain? Well, they've got specialists for that. Alonso at first, Iglesias at second, Lindor at short, Vientos at third. Turner 3 out of 11 in the series. Right-hand batter, Quintana deals, and a fastball high, ball 1. Turner 7 out of 21 in his career against Quintana. Nimmo, Taylor, Marte left to right in the outfield. Alvarez catching Quintana. And Jose's 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss at a dandy curve. And the count 1-1. He'll use that, and he'll use a very effective changeup to neutralize the righties, and that's why they had such a relatively low batting average against Quintana, the right-hand hitters. Now the 1-1. Fastball, that's in for a called strike. And Quintana ahead here. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and it doesn't take much more than that to get the fans up and waving the orange towels. They're around towards right in the infield against Turner. A 1-2 pitch. Low and away with that changeup. And the count 2-2. How far away? Well, he threw a strike in the left-handed batter's box. Essentially, that's what Alvarez wanted. He was set up away, and they were hoping to make Turner go after a bad ball. He did not. And now the count 2-2. Quintana with a right leg kick deals. And missed low and away with a changeup, 3-2. Turner's a guy who can steal a base, so he's one that you would always prefer to keep off there, especially with Harper on deck. Quintana ready. Now the payoff pitch. Swing on a high fly ball to shallow right. Marte settling under it, and Starling makes the one-hand catch. 2 men away. So Quintana has already delivered the first strikeout of the game, sponsored by Berkeley College. Take a swing at your future with one of their certificate and degree programs. Learn more at berkeleycollege.edu. And now here is Bryce Harper. Well, Harper yesterday, when Sean Manaea was at a crossroads, and so was Carlos Mendoza in that sixth inning after Manaea walked the first two. Mets were leading 2-0 at the time. Carlos let Manaea continue, and he struck out Harper. First pitch from Quintana, a little dribbler foul to the backstop. It's 0-1. Harper went 1 for 4. He did have an RBI single in the eighth inning when things were getting a little bit tight yesterday. He is 4 for 16 with a homer in his career against Quintana. 2 out, nobody on, just getting started. A little cooler and breezier than it was yesterday. Nothing brisk as far as the wind. Flags actually blowing across from left to right, maybe even angling out towards right. And the 0-1 fastball is inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. We saw some balls hit yesterday in the first couple of innings that off the bat seemed sure to leave the ballpark, but they did not. It really wasn't wind related. 1-1 the count. Quintana kicks and deals. Harper swings and fouls it off to the left and out of play. And the count 1-2 as that one settles into the upper deck in short, or the second deck, pardon me, in short left field. Mets did hit a couple of home runs yesterday, but it was a little harder to get one out than it is under midsummer, warmer and more humid conditions. 1-2. Quintana kicks and deals. Breaking ball low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nick Castellanos, a right-hand hitter, is on deck. Outfield straight up. Now the 2-2 to Harper. Swing on a pop-up outside third, between home and third, a foul ball, and that settles into the seats right next to the third base dugout. Jose Quintana was healthy and essentially effective all year. He made 31 starts. When you look at the fact that Severino, Manaea, Quintana all made 30 or more starts, that's something most people would not have expected when the season began. Here's the 2-2 to Harper. Check swing, did he go? The pitch in the dirty. Went around, strike 3. Punched out by third base up John Tumpane, and that retires the side. Nothing across. 2 strikeouts for Quintana. Middle of the first inning. The Phillies nothing, and the Mets coming up on Odyssey Mets Radio. Third base up John Tumpane, which ended that top of the first. Harper stayed at home plate for an extra moment or two, probably in disbelief that the call went against him, but when we looked at it between half innings, it certainly appeared to be a justifiable call on the part of Tumpane, who took the appeal at third, with James Hoy, the crew chief, the home plate umpire. And the umpires lineup brought to you by RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. Hoy has the plate. Carlos Torres at first, Andy Fletcher at second, John Tumpane at third. Rob Drake took ill or injured yesterday, and so Tumpane has replaced him on the crew. Edwin Moscoso on the left field line, Doug Eddings on the right field line. Francisco Lindor leads off. Suarez throws a fastball over the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Francisco 5 out of 22 in the postseason, 3 for 13 in this series. A switch hitter, batting right-handed, and Suarez delivers in a foul straight back out of play. And quickly it's 0-2 on Lindor with Vientos and Nimmo to follow. So Suarez was 12-8, nice numbers on the year, but it really was just about 2 different seasons for him. He was an all-star, the 0-2 on the way, breaking ball low, 1-2, but his back acted up around mid-season, and he missed a month. He was an all-star to be sure, but did not participate in the game. Wound up going on the IL. His first half numbers were tremendous. The 1-2 curve in the dirt, 2-2. He was 10-2 with a 2.27 ERA over his first 17 starts. But in his final 10, beginning on July 1st and shortly thereafter, he went on the IL, 2-6 with a 6.04. The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a curveball. And Lindor down on strikes. So one up, one down, and Mark Vientos coming up.
So similar, these two. Quintana, Suarez. Quintana's just been doing this for twice as long as Suarez has. We're going to see a lot of really good hitters look really silly at some points on 90 and 78-mile-an-hour curves, as we've seen so far on both sides.
Two other things about Suarez we'll tell you about after this first pitch to Vientos, which is pulled foul over by the Phillies dugout. The count 0-1. First off, Suarez is a tremendous defender. He's quick, he's agile, he pitches like he's a middle infielder, and he also has a great pickoff move to first. The 0-1 fastball up and into Vientos, so any base runner, and believe me, this is no mystery, they go over this in the meetings, and they've seen Suarez before, of course, but you have to be very well aware of what Suarez can do if you're a runner at first, especially. The 1-1 to Vientos fouled straight back and out of play, and the count 1-2. Mark, who had a good year against lefties during the regular season, 5 for 6 with 2 homers and a double against left-handers here in the postseason. No score, 1 out, nobody on last of the first. The 1-2 pitch, fastball low and away, 2-2. Vientos is 3 out of 15 in his career against Suarez, who is 4-3 lifetime against New York. 29-year-old out of Venezuela. And Vientos calls time. It's been a little while now since Suarez pitched. Total of 12 days since September 27th, when he only lasted 2 innings in Washington, gave up 7 hits and 6 runs. 2-2 pitch. Vientos lines it to left center. That's pretty deep. Headed towards the wall. It's in for a hit. One hops the wall. Played by Marsh. Vientos on his way to second. The throw, the hit for slide. He's safe. A double for Mark Vientos. And this kid continues to rake.
Rake is absolutely right. Nobody's having a better postseason from start to where we are now, numbers-wise, than Mark Vientos, who as soon as he came up this year and then went down and then came up and then went down, as soon as he was back, he settled in right away. Something has clicked for Vientos this year, and even in the postseason it's clicked and it's gotten better.
Well, Brandon Nimmo will be the batter, and he'd certainly like to do a little better against Suarez than he has in the past. Nimmo generally hits lefties pretty well, but Suarez has been a mystery. And Nimmo fouls the first pitch, sinker straight down, 0-1. Brandon just 3 for 25 against Ranger Suarez. Nimmo 7 out of 23 this postseason with a homer and 4 RBIs. He's 4 for 11 in this series. And he's got a man in scoring position with 1 out, a slow man, Vientos at second. The 0-1 check swing, the pitch taken down and in. On appeal to third, John Tumpain said he did not swing. And that evens the count, 1-1 on Nimmo with Pete Alonso on deck. Early in the year, Suarez had a streak of 32 scoreless innings. Here's the 1-1. Nimmo takes breaking ball low and away, ball 2. Well, yep, this crowd can be loud and hostile too, just like they are in Philadelphia. And the Phillies know their season is on the line. If they are the least bit fragile, these fans will sense it, and the Mets will try to take advantage. The outfield straight away against Nimmo. Bohm, the third baseman, is off the line and even with a bag. The 2-1 pitch is outside, ball 3. Suarez generally has pretty good control, 41 walks in 150 and 2/3 innings. But now he's behind Nimmo, 3-1. Vientos walks his lead off of second. Harper deep at first. Here's the pitch. In tight, ball 4. He missed with a fastball. And the Mets have runners at first and second, nobody out. And Pete Alonso will be next. Now, as this is an elimination game for the Philadelphia Phillies, be sure that Rob Thompson will have a very short leash for Suarez. Obviously nobody throwing yet, just 3 batters into the game. But if the Mets do any early business here, it would not at all be surprising to see somebody get up quickly. So here is Alonso. First pitch, and Pete takes a breaking ball low. So Nimmo drew the first Mets walk of the game. Brought to you by Total Orthopedics, the experts at getting back to being you. And now Alonso trying to take advantage. His power lately has been the other way. He's hit a lot of home runs to the opposite field. The 1-0, down the middle, a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alonso, in the last 37 games, has hit 5 opposite field home runs, including 3 in the postseason. He only hit 2 of those in the first 131 games. The 1-1 in tight with a fastball, ball 2. Jose Iglesias, a right-hand hitter on deck. So Suarez now has thrown 18 pitches, 10 of them out of the strike zone. Suarez sets the 2-1. That's in for a called strike, a fastball on the outer half. It's a sinker at 92 miles an hour, and that is a big pitch for Suarez, because when he's getting that sinker to work, he gets a lot of ground balls, and that's just what he's looking for here from Alonso. 2-2 the count. Now the pitch. Swing and a foul straight back. Pete hits into a lot of double plays, but lately he hasn't exactly been locked in, because he is 4 for 19 in the postseason. And 3 of those 4 hits have been home runs. So he may not be exactly locked in, but he's been better. Now the 2-2 in the dirt. Nice block by Real Muto, and it's 3-2. And you certainly don't expect the Mets to help Suarez out here and potentially send the runners, particularly with Vientos, a very slow man at second. Nimmo much faster as the trail man at first. So 3-2 to Alonso. And the crowd now is Suarez apparently was having a little trouble hearing the pitch come, and the fans start to make some noise, and time called, and I believe that is on Pete.
Didn't see James Hoy point, but I think
he motioned towards Pete.
Okay.
It was not a vigorous point, like that's his. Because I don't think he had taken it on 2-2. That was the umpire James Hoy's decision. And now it's 3-2. Suarez sets. Here's the pitch. Swing and a bouncer, foul down the third base line. So, yeah, it's important that the Mets are making Suarez work here. But it's not like the Phillies have any designs that he's got to go 5 or 6 innings. There's nobody throwing yet, just 3 batters, and now Alonso being the 4th in. But it won't take much. Suarez to the belt. Here's the pitch. Swinging a slow hit, grounded to third. Charged by Bohm. He gloves it, reaches for the runner, misses, throws to first. Just in time to get Alonso. They may take a look at this. The runners move up. 2 men away. Bohm had reached to try to tag Vientos crossing over, and he missed the tag, so Vientos went to third, Nimmo to second. Tell you what, to the naked eye, it looked like Alonso might have beaten this, and the Mets, I believe, are going to challenge.
Yeah, I thought so too, as far as just bang, bang at first. I thought he was safe, and now the Mets do too, so they've asked for a
New York
challenge.
Is challenging to play at first base.
Well, I just saw one angle that's not as conclusive as this next one should be.
I
think he's safe.
He's in there.
I think the Mets are going to have the bases loaded here.
He beat that out. Good on Alonso. Again, he's been feeling so good, driving balls the other way. He just gets beat off balance on a breaking ball. He's way out in front, hits the weakest of weak contacts toward third, but he put his head down, and he beat it out. It didn't sulk, not that he would, but he put his head down, and what looks like the Mets are going to have the bases loaded once this call verdict comes in, and here we go.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is safe. New York has 2 remaining challengers.
So that should be an infield single for Alonso. It'll load the bases. And where Bohm lost the play, looking at a replay, was not only trying to reach to get a tag on Vientos crossing over, never really had control of the ball when he was trying to tag Mark. The ball rolled up towards the edge of his glove, and that took him a little extra time to get a grip on it. By the time he got the throw to first, it was too late. Here's Iglesias' first pitch, swung on and missed a curve. 0-1. So it's Vientos at third, Nimmo at second, Alonso at first. The Phillies are back up the middle, but they are in tight at the corners, even with the bags even a little closer. The 0-1. Iglesias swings and misses at a changeup, and it's 0-2. And Iglesias, in his career, 6 for 8 against Ranger Suarez. So no score, but the Mets threatening. Bases loaded, 1 out. But the Mets have some more 0-2 magic in them. Here's the pitch. Not there. It's swung on and missed. Strike 3. Got him with a curve. And after the Phillies saw a call go against them, which loaded the bases and left Suarez with no room for error, and with this team in a somewhat fragile state, he comes back on 3 pitches to strike out Jose Iglesias, who had been 6 for 8 against him.
And we've seen Jose enough at this point now to know that very rarely does he get as overzealous as he did in that at bat. I mean, He's a guy that likes to fight with 2 strikes. But he got beat badly on a breaking ball in the dirt.
Well, here's J.D. Martinez. First pitch, popped up foul. Outside first. Harper over for a look, but it'll settle into the seats. And the count 0-1 on Martinez, who is just 6 for his last 53, even though he's 3 for 10 in the postseason. He has not homered since August the 30th against the White Sox in Chicago, just before he went on paternity leave. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by Real Muto, and the count 1-1. And again, with Vientos not a fast man at third, he will take less liberties on balls that roll away from Real Muto than some others might. Mike Sarbaugh, the third base coach, is stationed about halfway down the line between home and third, set way back onto the postseason logo. 1-1 to Martinez, the pitch. Swing and a miss. He chased the curve. And so suddenly the Mets, who are in a great situation where the base is loaded, have been over-anxious.
Over-anxious again against a guy who throws 90 with a 78-mile-an-hour curve. And when he's on, it's nasty. He makes these guys look silly sometimes.
1-2 to Martinez. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. A curve in the dirt, low and away. The ball squirted out of Real Muto's glove, but he steps on home plate to effect the force, which ends the inning. 3 strikeouts for Suarez, and he gets out of big early trouble. The National League Championship Series will not start until Sunday in California. The Mets win today. That's a few days off. So here's Castellanos, right-hand batter. First pitch on the way, taken outside, ball 1. If not, then Game 5 would be back in Philadelphia on Friday night. Remember, the Phillies have the best home record in baseball this year. 1-0 to Castellanos, swinging a high pop-up near first, now into foul ground, slicing towards the stands. Alonso over, makes the one-hand catch on the dirt. 1 man away. Breeze appeared to be pushing that ball further and further over towards the dugout, but Alonso made the play, and now Alec Boehm will be the batter.
You can see a couple of hot dog wrappers kicking up, and those flags high above the their retired numbers in left field. They're whipping in from that left field line toward home plate.
So a little bit different feeling atmospherically than there was yesterday. And now Boehm will be the batter, right-hand hitter. Quintana's first pitch, fastball taken high, ball 1. Alec Boehm just 1 for 10 in the series. And in his last 6 at-bats, talk about being over-anxious, he saw just 8 pitches. Here's the 1-0 on the way. Swing on a little foul ball, rolling right to the on-deck area where J.T. Real Muto fields it. And the count 1-1. Well, look at what else is going on. Sponsored by your local Honda dealers. Contact one for a great deal today. 1-1 to Boehm. Now the pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball to third. Knee-high hop for Vientos. Sets and throws in time. And there are 2 men away. Well, the Tigers are leading the Guardians 3-0 in the top of the 8th inning in Detroit. That series is tied 1-1. The Guardians have not scored since the 6th inning of Game 1. And the Tigers have used 5 pitchers, combining to allow 3 hits. Benny McClain, Mickey Lolich. Imagine telling those guys, we're going to use 5 of you for 8 innings. Here's J.T. Real Muto, and he takes outside for ball 1.
Can you give a Division Series MVP to a guy named Johnny Holstaff? That whole series, they only have Skubal in a bullpen.
Amazing, isn't it? 1-0 to Real Muto. Take it for a called strike. The curve, it's 1-1. Yankees in Kansas City later tonight. They've split the first 2, and the Padres, speaking of bullpen games, will try to close out the Dodgers in San Diego in Game 4. The 1-1 taken outside and high, 2-1, and apparently that's what Dave Roberts is going to do too.
Ryan Brazier, one of the relievers, is going to start for a very battered Dodgers team that even in a 5-game set doesn't have enough pitching. That's crazy.
2-1 to Real Muto, 2 out, nobody on. Mets and Phillies scoreless, top second. The 2-1 pitch, fastball just outside, ball 3. Bryson Stott, a left-hand hitter, is on deck. Outfield around towards right against Real Muto. He's 0 for 9 in the series. And the 3-1 pitch, fastball just outside, ball 4, close pitch. But James Howie does not give it to Quintana, and that's a walk to Real Muto. Now, if the Phillies feel that they've got to push the envelope a little bit, consider that JT Real Muto, even though he's a catcher, he can run, he can steal a base. Might still be the fastest of any catcher in baseball. So they'd have to consider the possibility here. He only stole 2 during the regular season. Bryson Stott, left-hand batter. First pitch by Quintana, fastball outside, ball 1. Of course, with Quintana, a lefty, you would think it'd be a little more difficult to run against him. But the Phillies changing their lineup around a little bit today, trying for more length against Quintana. So it's lefty-lefty here with Stott. And the 1-0 on the inside corner, a sinker. 1-1. Yesterday with the Mets starting lefty Sean Manaea. Bryson Stott was on the bench. So was Brandon Marsh. Marsh is batting 9th with Weston Wilson, who did not play either yesterday, on deck. He's a right-hand hitter. 1-1. The pitch. Fastball somewhere. Probably low. And the count 2-1. And you can hear the murmur from the crowd who thought that pitch had plenty of plate. But of course it depends where you're seated. And we're behind home plate. So first glance sometimes can be deceiving. 2-1 pitch. Same thing, a little bit low, and it's 3-1. So 3-1 to Bryson Stott. Quintana brings the hands together. The 3-1 pitch. Check swing, but he went around. 3-2. That was the sinker from Quintana. Stott has power. With 11 homers, drove in 57 runs. And the crowd back up, waving the towels. No score, 2 out. Real Muto at first. We're in the second. Alonso drops back to the base runner at first, and now time called by Stott. I would say, Keith, 75% of the hitters now that get to full counts take their timeout if they haven't by then.
Yeah, we're almost surprised when we don't see him take it at 3-2.
So Quintana ready to go. Real Muto ready to run. And the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a sinker. Side retired. Third strikeout for Quintana. A walk, 1 left. Middle of the second. The Phillies nothing. The Mets nothing. On Otis. Thompson and the Phillies pitching coach Caleb Cotham, who don't have to get anybody up in the bullpen yet. Bottom third of the order for the Mets. Starling Marte takes a fastball for a called strike. 0-1. The first pitch that he sees as a 36-year-old. Happy birthday, Starling. 36 years young today. The 0-1 curve in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tyrone Taylor on deck, and then Francisco Alvarez. Just one very thin patch of sunlight. The 1-1 taken high, 2-1. That is inconsequentially located deep center field. That won't affect anything hit in the air. Lights will begin to take effect fairly soon, but they are on. And the 2-1 to Marte. Swing on a pop foul. Right field side going out of play downstairs. And the count now is 2 balls and 2 strikes on Marte. Suarez kicks and delivers, and a curve in the dirt, ball 3. So again, Suarez using up some pitches here. Ready at 35 without having yet recorded it out in the second. And the payoff pitch. Breaking ball, hit foul, little roller to the backstop. Once again, Rob Thompson was pretty adamant that under virtually no conditions would we see Zach Wheeler today. Christopher Sanchez, that's another story. Sanchez should be very much available. Here's the starting pitcher Sunday in Game 2 of the series. 3-2, the payoff pitch. Marte takes a fastball low inside, ball 4. So Suarez has walked his second batter. The Mets get the leadoff man on, and Tyrone Taylor, guy who badly needs a hit, will be the batter.
I'll tell you, James Howie, that was a close pitch behind home plate, but it looked a little bit low and a little bit in, and he's had a tight zone And both sides can say that, so Hoy has been tight and it's been even, which is at least good at the beginning of this game.
Well, here's Tyrone Taylor. He is 2 for 20. First pitch to the right-hand batter, line to left field. That's a base hit. Played on the first hop by Wilson. Going to second is Marte. He stops there. And now the Mets once again stirring as they have runners at first and second. Nobody out. Francisco Alvarez, the batter. Now, sometimes you think about your number 9 hitter in a spot like this and say, well, maybe he drops one down. Alvarez is very rarely asked to do that. You would not expect that. You don't want the ground ball, of course, which could be a specialty for Suarez because of the double play possibility. But I think if Alvarez bunts here, that would produce 3 great googly mooglies.
I mean, the only drop it down is which level? The down level, the second level, or the third level? That's what he's thinking about right now.
Phillies aren't thinking about it. They're back. And the first pitch, breaking ball outside, ball 1. And there is a little movement in the Phillies bullpen. Nobody's gotten up to throw yet. So Alvarez ahead in the count, 1-0. Marte at second, Taylor at first. Good speed at both precincts. The 1-0 pitch, that's a strike on the outside corner. A sinker. So 1-1 to Alvarez. 4 out of 22 in the postseason. No homers, 1 RBI. He has struck out 8 times. The only hit against Suarez that he's had is a home run. The 1-1 swing on a high pop foul. Going back into the seats behind first base downstairs. And Suarez, once again fighting, is now ahead 1-2.
Well, Jeff Hoffman has started throwing for the Phillies in their bullpen. So second inning, Rob Thompson's already on the phone, getting his pen going.
1-2 to Alvarez. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, a curveball. And the Mets chase again as Iglesias did, as Martinez did, and now as Alvarez does in the second. That's the first out. Back to the top of the order for Francisco Lindor. So every out recorded by Suarez through an inning and a third has been by a strikeout.
And all 4 of those strikeouts have finished. The put-away pitch has been on that devastating curve.
So now Lindor, who struck out first time. First pitch, curve is low, ball 1. Mark Vientos waiting on deck. And you've seen enough of these games over the years to get the feeling that let's need to cash something in here, because you start leaving guys on too early in a game, that comes back to bite you later. The 1-0, swing and a miss at a high fastball, actually foul tipped it into the mid of Real Muto. It's 1-1. I think that pitch was out of the strike zone. And we very rarely see Lindor chase up.
We've seen it with this lineup. And again, Suarez, when he's on, can be tough. I know he's had a lot of base runners, but he's tough to pick up. Tough to know what's coming.
Well, Francisco has just called his timeout.
I mean, like you mentioned at the outset, he was April and May into June. We were thinking, well, Ranger Suarez making a bid for Cy Young. He hasn't looked like Cy Young today, but there have been glimpses where you go, man, these swings and misses are all over the place.
Here's the 1-1 to Lindor. Swing on a liner, foul right into the Phillies dugout. Some low bridges there, as that one might have ricocheted off the back wall and gone right down the runway.
Former Met Taijuan Walker was there. He's hanging on the railing, and tough to move a big guy like that quickly, but Taijuan got out of there.
Well, Suarez spinning that curveball up here again. Ahead 1-2. The pitch. It's taken low and away. That was the changeup. And it's 2-2 to Lindor. So here in the second inning, Jeff Hoffman up in the Phillies bullpen. That's got to him in the first game of the series. Hoffman not used to seeing the mound this early. Suarez trying to keep him in the bullpen. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Another curveball down and away. And Lindor goes after it.
I think he's arguing that he tipped it and then it hit the ground, but James Hoy is saying you're out. I believe that went right into Real Muto's glove, or he didn't tip it. I'm not going to see a replay, I don't think, in time before this next at bat, but boy, the curveball yet again devastating against these guys.
Carlos Mendoza is going to go out there and talk to James Hoy about it. But nothing's going to change. Vientos will be the batter here. So the Mets now in this game, technically with the base hit by Alonso, 1 for 5 with men in scoring position. Vientos trying to change that, get a run home. First pitch, swing on a pop foul, straight back out of play. Actually off behind the first base dugout downstairs, and the count 0-1. Vientos doubled to left center his first time up. Phillies nothing, Mets nothing. Suarez has thrown most every pitch under duress. The 0-1 taken high and tight, 1-1. They don't just measure pitch counts, they measure stressful pitches, as the managers call them. And those come with men on base. Remember, the Mets left 3 aboard in the first. They had 2 on, nobody out here, and they're still at first and second. With 2 out, the 1-1. Vientos takes the curve low, ball 2. Brandon Nimmo waiting on deck. Excruciating, isn't it, when you get this close to breaking through early against a team that you're trying to deliver a knockout punch against, and just keep you from getting where you need to get because of that great curveball of Suarez. 2-1 pitch, breaking ball, hit slowly on the ground to third. Bohm up with it, holds on to it, and Vientos has an infield hit. It was slowly hit, and again, I think when Bohm picked that ball up, I think he was contemplating whether he had any kind of chance to get over towards Marte. Remember, there was a force in effect there, so maybe Bohm was thinking, do I have time to get to third? But that hesitation against a slow-moving Vientos cost him the play. If he pursued that aggressively and just charged and fired to first, they might have had Vientos. But here goes again. The Mets have the bases loaded, and Caleb Cotham is on his way to the mound. He's the pitching coach.
Now you can see Bohm's reaction. He utters a word that is usually uttered by somebody who just knew he cost his team maybe an out to get out of the inning. He turns his hips before the ball gets toward him to pick it up because he's thinking, do I go here, do I go there? And that hesitation, and he who hesitates is lost. And Bohm hesitates now for the second time in this game. And you just mentioned the feeling of how the Mets have been gifted some chances. Neither manager feels awfully good right now. Carlos Mendoza is hoping that 90 feet, the Bohm misplay there, will lead to a good feeling right here with Nimmo up.
Now that's up to Brandon Nimmo, who we told you before is just 3 for 25 in his career against Suarez. Now Nimmo walked his first time up. Suarez will not have much rope here at all, whether he gets Nimmo or not. He's at 51 pitches now. With no guarantee, even if he gets out of this, that he starts the third inning, but a lot depends on what the Phillies might do offensively. What Suarez tells them and what Rob Thompson and Caleb Cotham think. Well, here we go. Bases loaded, 2 out. Suarez from the stretch. First pitch to Nimmo. Swing on a bouncer foul up the first baseline, 0-1. And it's not as though Suarez has not been getting ahead of the hitters. He's gotten a lot of foul balls on first pitches. And even though his ratio is getting better, 31 strikes, 21 balls, I mean, he's been ahead 0-1, it seems, on most everyone. As he is to Nimmo. Bohm in tight at third. Lefty against lefty to pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball to first. Big hop for Harper. He trots to the bag in time. Side retired, and the Mets are going to pray that they don't rue these first 2 innings when they have left the bases loaded in each of them. Quintana to preclude that scenario from developing, as the Mets and Phillies are scoreless, despite the fact that the Mets have had and left the bases loaded in each of the first 2 innings, Keith.
A whopping 53 pitches, too, from Ranger Suarez, but no runs to show for it. And here's Weston Wilson, the righty leading off today for Philadelphia, playing left field. First pitch from Quintana, hits the outside corner, a curveball strike, and it's 0-1. Wilson, then Marsh, then the leadoff man Schwarber, 8-9-1 here in the third inning. Quintana slowly winds and deals the next. Missed outside a changeup, 1 strike. And the other part of it, too, is that this Philadelphia offense right now knows it's kind of feeling a little pressure right now, and so they feel like they can at least maybe hang around after what just happened. The 1-1. Slammed in the air toward right. Marte moving back toward the track. Backpedaling, makes the catch right in front of the Payson Cadillac Club. Now Marte moving back on it. Had to turn his hips and square himself toward the infield. That was all over it. Made the catch for the first out. That was Weston Wilson's first ever postseason plate appearance. And he flies out to right. Now he's one of the guys that Rob Thompson put into the lineup today that may not have, well, the book had said put him in there. Same deal with this guy, Brandon Marsh, batting left-handed. No score, top 3. Game 4, Mets and Phillies. Quintana the lefty to the lefty Marsh. First pitch is outside with ball one. Again, Bryson Stott, who hit seventh, struck out his first time. He's playing second base where you'd usually see the righty Edmundo Sosa. And Brandon Marsh is in there, batting left in the ninth spot. The lefty Quintana's next. That's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Johan Rojas is the other right-handed hitting option for Philadelphia, but even the righty versus the lefty, Rojas has given the Phillies next to no pop. And so Marsh has a little more home run power. Career high in homers this year, 16 of them, is batting against the lefty. Quintana behind here, now the 2-0. Marsh swings, grounds one to first. Right there, Alonso picks it up, races to the bag, and steps on it in time, 1 away. Alonso took it himself. All right, that's the second out. 2 down here in this third inning. We're coming to you live from the Bob Murphy broadcast booth, proudly presented by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly. So back to the top of the order for Quintana. First time through, 1 through 9. Just gave up 1 base runner. That was the walk to JT Realmuto, but 3 strikeouts and no hits. Here's Kyle Schwarber, lefty against lefty. Again, wind blowing in from left today. Quintana winds and fires. Has popped up behind home plate. Alvarez chucks the mask, turns, nearing the front row, watches it go foul into the third row behind the brick wall. That sits in front of the front row here at Citi Field. And again, who knows if that wind had something to do with it, because Alvarez flipped off the mask, turned, got right around the logo in the grass, stopped, and then started to move toward the wall. And Schwarber able to survive and see another pitch. Met infield is back, swung around to the right. The outfielders are also playing Schwarber to pull. Quintana, slow wind up, fires the 0-1. Breaking ball bends outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Schwarber went down early on a slurve from Quintana, who's only at 41 pitches. He's thrown fewer than, of course, his counterpart, Ranger Suarez, already. The kick and the 1-1. Bounces up there. 2 balls and a strike. Trey Turner is on deck. Jeff Hoffman, by the way, who was throwing in the Philadelphia bullpen during that second inning when the Mets had loaded the bases, he has since sat down. So while Rob Thompson's going to have a quick trigger to get the next guy in there, he doesn't want to use everybody for every inning, so he's going to shoot Suarez out there for the third. 2-1 on Schwarber, the windup and the pitch. Swing and a miss at 90. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fans at Citi Field to their feet, out of their chairs, swirling those orange towels overhead. Towels for this series. Simply say 3 words. Let's go Mets. No score, top 3. Bases clear, 2 outs. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Outside, try the slurve. And the count full. Again, lefty to lefty. The slurve put away Schwarber last time. It's hard to see that pitch break and to track it. And Schwarber did that time. Quintana has his sign. The kick and the payoff. Pulled foul down first, right beyond Alonso, but it was foul. And it stays full. Again, Carlos Torres is the umpire down the first base line. Behind him, maybe 40 feet behind him, going further down the right field line, that's Doug Eddings. Have a 6-man crew here in the postseason. Quintana tugs at the bill of his cap, remounts the mound. Another payoff pitch to Schwarber. Here comes. Swing and a miss, change up away. Got him for the second time. Quintana marches off the mound. 3 scoreless on his end, and we're scoreless in this one. Mets and Phillies, middle of 3 on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda. Again, and once again, the Mets did not score. And so that kind of goes to show you why the baseball world over the last 10 years has said it's hard to string together rallies. Let's just try to hit home runs. 1 swing's better than 4. And we'll see if this guy has anything in there, with Pete Alonso leading off here in the bottom of this third inning.
Here's new walk-up song.
First pitch to Pete. Missed inside, ball 1.
Do you even know the song American Pie?
Don McLean, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Bye, Miss. Anyway, he said he heard it on shuffle and said, this would be cool.
The crowd was so loud I didn't even notice it. The 1-0. Suarez delivers a letter-high fastball strike, and it's 1-1. I'm more of a fan of Vincent, but I don't mind American Pie.
That's all right. I mean, that's over 50 years ago.
You're telling me, Howie.
Sure, you got it.
There's the 1-1. That's at the knees, a called strike, and it's 1-2. Good to see Alonso throwing it back. Now, Pete, whatever he's been doing lately has been working. 3 homers in his postseason. Did single his first time. The 1-2. Up and in, missed with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, Jeff Hoffman had been up and throwing in that second inning, and Suarez, not only has he Houdini'd his way out of trouble in the first 2 innings, he's thrown a lot of pitches to do so. He's at 57 right now, which is a nightmare if you're talking about a manager going with 1 pitcher for the full game, but it's going to be a short stint today for Suarez. 2-2. High and in, he's run it full. And it's been a lot of this. Certainly he's gotten out of trouble, but he's had a lot of full counts. Alonso had an infield hit on a full count his first time. Suarez winds and fires the payoff. Low. Guess what? The curve. And Alonso and the Mets have maybe learned their lesson. It's ball 4 and Pete's on. So this heart of the order continuing. The heart of the Mets lineup is powered by 10-to-1 Rum. Elevate your game day experience with 10-to-1 Rum's lineup of Mets-inspired cocktails. 10-to-1 Rum, a proud partner of the New York Mets.
Mets have sent 13 men to the plate. 7 of them have reached, and yet they have nothing to show for it.
Phillies infield gathers together. Let's pause 10 seconds. Station ID.
Mets Radio on WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Back at Citi Field in Flushing, Game 4. Mets ahead of the series 2-1, but so far scoreless here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Phillies infield got together after the Suarez walk. Looks like Jeff Hoffman is back up and throwing and probably ready here pretty soon. Runner at first base, nobody out. Jose Iglesias is up. Really good lifetime numbers against Suarez. Pitch. Downstairs with a changeup. Ball 1. Now again, keeping that in mind that Iglesias has seen Suarez well. Well, he didn't in that first at-bat. Suarez put him away on 3 pitches. That was with the bases loaded. 1-0. Downstairs again. Tried the sinker. Ball 2. Again, if you do what the Mets did over the first 2 innings, eventually the dam will break. That's just the odds. As Suarez missing big time here. 2-0 on Iglesias. The set, the pitch. At the knees, got the call. 93 for strike 1. Iglesias, then Martinez. 2 guys that are looking to, again, redeem themselves as the Mets loaded the bases. Those 2 guys came up and struck out. 2-1. Swing and a miss at a curve in the dirt. And it's 2-2. And again, these 40,000 plus and the 2 of us up here are kind of thinking, man, this curveball must really be something, because it comes in very slow, drops down low, and it's well out of the zone. And these Mets hitters have been just overzealous on that pitch all day. 2-2. Swing and a miss at a curve. This one caught the low inside corner. It would have been strike 3, but untouchable. Still, this one pitch from Rangers. Suarez, 1 out in the 3rd inning. Step up to the plate with Mets Connect, the New York Mets loyalty program. Join now for free at MetsConnect.com to earn points and enjoy exclusive benefits. And stepping up right now, here's J.D. Martinez. No score, bottom 3, Mets and Phillies. Pitch. Down and in with a fastball. It's a ball and no strikes. Now Hoffman standing there in that bullpen mound. Again, the bullpens here at Citi Field are side by side in right center. Phillies on the left from this vantage point. Mets on the right. Hoffman just standing there. He's ready. 1-0. Up and in. 2-0 on Martinez. And with a lefty starter, the Mets have gone heavy right-handers today. The only lefty starter in the batting order for the Mets is Nimmo. And then Lindor, of course, a switch hitter who will just spin around. Hoffman, a righty, is waiting in the wings, but Suarez out here still against Martinez. Marte to follow. The 2-0. Swing a bouncing ball to shortstop. Turner's got it. Underhand flip to second's a little high. Stock comes down on the bag and still has time to throw out Martinez at first. Rangers, Suarez, go get a lottery ticket, man. You've been getting out of trouble and getting lucky all day. No runs, a walk, no hits, and nobody left after the 6-4-3 double play. We go to the 4th. Still no score in Game 4. Mets nothing, Phillies nothing on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri Honda dealers. play. So that's one side of this thing. The other side is that Jose Quintana's been great again. But second time through against this Phillies lineup, he has to be again a little more creative than he was first time around. He'll see Turner, Harper, Castellanos. Turner flew out to right his first time. Infield plays him straight up. Good hitter to all fields. Pitch. Missed outside a changeup for ball one. Again, only a walk allowed by Quintana on a JT Realmuto base on balls in the second inning, but 4 strikeouts for Quintana. The wind-up, kick, and the 1-0. Downstairs changeup, 2 balls and no strikes. And as Quintana's season was up and down and up and down, the highs were high, the lows were really low with all the homers this year. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Pop foul, first base side, slicing into the seats, 2-1. He's been on a good run, as we've seen. Last 7 starts, ERA sub-1. It's over a good chunk of time and some high-pressure settings. He said he made it a tweak to his arm slot, a la Sean Manaea. Here's the 2-1 to Turner. Down and in, missed with a fastball. 3-1 on Turner. They talked about Sean Manaea dropping his arm slot after watching Chris Sale pitch here for Atlanta. Quintana's been the opposite. The Mets have actually asked him to pick up his release point just a little bit, and it seems to have made a great difference. 3-1. Swing and a miss. Turner way out in front of that curve. And a count 3-2. It's only a 78-mile-an-hour curve. Sponsored by Spectrum. A connection built for everywhere. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum. Towels waving. Fans on their feet. 3-2 pitch to Turner. Flied foul to the right over the first base dugout and out of play. Now, what the Mets have been able to do with their starters, not just Quintana, but Severino and Manaea, and for that matter, Peterson, under this new regime of David Stearns and Carlos Mendoza, really good changes everywhere. Another payoff. Broken back, grounded to short. Lindor there, picks it up, one fell swoop, fires to first, in time to get the speedy Turner one away. Got to go quick with the transfer with Turner running, and that's what Lindor did. That's another out for Jose Quintana. Then a spring up Bryce Harper. Scoreless game, top of the 4th inning. Harper struck out his first time, left on left changeup from Quintana. Not a pitch you usually see to put away a lefty, but again, it's hard to put away Harper. Quintana able to do that the first time around. Infield back around to the right. Quintana rocks and deals. Breaking ball down and away, somewhat of a check swing, but Harper just simply lunged forward, kept the bat back, and on appeal to third, John Tumpane didn't really move. So ball 1 on Harper.
Yeah, that was really not a necessary appeal. I mean, what did Harper do? He took a breath? I mean, barely moved the hands.
Alvarez is always searching for a strike, for an out for his pitcher, whether that's knowing a guy is struggling and trying to backpick somebody on the bases or point to an umpire and try to steal a strike on a check swing. Quintana has his sign. Here's the 1-0. Up and in. Harper sucks his hands in on a sinker. And a count 2 balls and no strikes. Now again, the question marks are going to be on how the Mets are going to handle Harper in this series. Good count for him here. The 2-0. Breaking ball, strike. Just clipped the outside corner, and it's 2-1. Rob Thompson even said, and again, Harper is such a giant in this game. He's such a beast. He's had so many great years. But even the Phillies think he's been putting too much pressure on himself. 2-1. A little bit high. Alvarez tried to bring down the fastball, but it's ball 3. Well, 3-1 on Harper. Nick Castellanos on deck. No score, top 4. 57 pitches for Quintana. Has allowed 1 over the minimum. Got to make a good pitch here on 3-1 to a good hitter. Here comes. High, ball 4. So Harper walks. Second base runner allowed by Quintana. And now he'll see a righty in Nick Castellanos. Castellanos had such a great line last night. I wonder if he's been listening to the Goo Goo Dolls a little bit, because he didn't say it's the closest to heaven that I've ever been, but he said the Phillies are as close to death as they've ever been. So we'll see if the feeling of facing elimination kind of brings them alive a little bit. That's what he was talking about last night. First pitch. Swinging a line drive, left field. Nimmo back toward the track, looks up. It's off the warning track, bounds up over the wall, and Nimmo fires in. It's a ground rule double, and that'll put Harper at third base. Castellanos gets to second. Edwin Moscoso, the left field umpire, ran out there and held his hand up to signal 2. And so the ball did bound over the wall, onto that black ascending wall. And a hard hit double for Castellanos, first hit for the Phillies. Pitch up and in, and Castellanos turned on it. And here's Alec Bohm. So the corners come in, middle infield back. No score, top 4 for the best chance of the night for Philadelphia. Quintana a long hold, now comes set. Staring at second. Fires home. Missed low, change up. Ball and no strikes on Bohm.
First base is open. Real Muto is on deck. So they may be a bit careful with Bohm, who drove in 97 runs and missed some time with a hand injury.
Just 1 for 11 in the postseason. He grounded out to Vientos at third his first time. Vientos is in, so is Alonso. Middle infielders are back. Runners lead. The 1-0. Down and in, curve. 2 balls and no strikes. And again, if you do put Bohm on, bases loaded, you have the ability to get the next guy, Real Muto, to ground into a double play. Of course, here with first base open, no double play opportunity for the Mets. The outfield against Bohm playing the other way toward right center. Runners lead second and third. 2-0. Bounces up there. Alvarez blocks it. It rolls up the first base line. Runners stay put. Harper stays at third. Castellanos stays at second. But now it's 3-0. And again, Quintana, first time through, really nifty. Not much trouble. Only base runner he had was with 2 outs, so shrugged it right off. However, this 4th inning, a walk to Harper and a double to Castellanos. And behind on Bohm. Quintana set. Looks toward the plate and fires. Right down the middle of sinker, strike at 88 miles an hour, and it's 3-1. Now again, should the Phillies knock a couple in here, the Mets have left the bases loaded twice in this game. Quintana set center of the rubber. Second and third for Philly. 1 out. 3-1 pitch. Swinging a chopper foul behind home plate, and it's 3-2. Now Quintana lifts his hat, wipes some sweat from that forehead, tucks the glove under his armpit. 2 hands to rub up that ball. It's been a sweaty top of the 4th inning here with Castellanos in second, Harper leading from third, and from 3-0 to now 3-2 on Alec Bohm. JT Real Muto on deck. Quintana still can execute a good pitch without giving in to Alec Bohm. First base is open. The set and the pitch. Chopper hit toward third. Here comes the runner. Vientos drops the ball again. Harper scores. Castellanos to third. Bohm is on. 1-0 Philly in the 4th. This is deja vu for Vientos, who just a couple of days ago in Philly had an almost eerily similar play that he also couldn't make at home plate.
Because I believe he tried to speed it up a little bit. He knew that he had to get to that ball and hustle a throw to the plate. Harper pretty fast going down the line, but he tried to throw that ball before he secured it. Essentially, as he brought the hands together, he was already getting into throwing position and moving that arm back, and as he brought him back towards the ball, it squirted away from him, and the Phillies have the first run. And you know, this is what we were talking about before. You have the chances the Mets did in the first 2 innings and you don't cash in. Those things have a way of coming back to really hurt you. And right now it has. And the question is, how much more might it happen in this inning?
Now they've called that a fielder's choice and an E5. No RBI for Alec Bohm. So 1-0. Mets infield came together to cool Quintana down. You have a double play opportunity here with first and third, 1 out. Middle infielders are playing double play depth. Vientos also back at third, and Real Muto digs in. Quintana from the belt has his back to the runner at third, facing the runner at first. Holds and deals. Misses low with a changeup with ball 1. Again, isn't it funny and kind of cruel, this game sometimes. Mets have the bases loaded, and you figure, just put the ball in play. Good things will happen. Well, the Mets couldn't do that against Ranger Suarez's curveball. And then the Phillies have just the slightest of openings. They put the ball in play, and it leads to a run, and could be a couple more here. Quintana set at the belt. 1-0 on Real Muto. Pitch up and in. 2 balls and no strikes. And remember, Real Muto walked his first time. That's the first guy that Quintana allowed on base. Yesterday, the Mets led from the jump and led the entire way, 1-7-2. Phillies ahead first in this one. Game 4. Quintana from the belt. First and third for Philly. The 2-0. Swinging a pop-up right side of the infield towards shallow right. Here comes Marte in. He makes the catch and fires in. Castellanos didn't even bother to tag at third base. So Real Muto flies and pops out really to shallow right. Had Iglesias gone out there, he might have been able to make the catch, but he figured, let me have Marte handle this coming in. And so he makes the play. Bohm stays at first. Castellanos stays at third. And with 2 outs, here's a lefty, Bryson Stott. Phillies up 1-0, top of the 4th. Quintana knows that 1 out, you get out of this. He'll take it, down 1. Stott, though, has certainly had his moments. Saw him come up huge in Game 2 with what turned out to be the go-ahead triple down in Philadelphia. Struck out his first time. Quintana got him with a hard sinker. Castellanos at third, Bohm at first. Middle infield back. Vientos in at third. Pitch. Strike, top of the zone. Split the plate with a sinker. Strike 1. Alonso holding on Bohm at first. Not a real threat to run. Even though Paco Figueroa, the first base coach, talking to him in his ear. Quintana set. A long hold. Clock down to 2. Now 1. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball away. Misses. That's 1 ball and 1 strike. All of a sudden you look up. Quintana's at 70 pitches right now. He walked into this inning right around the 40-45 pitch mark. 1-0 Philly, top of the 4th. The 1-1. Stott flies the ball in the air to center. Taylor in a couple of steps. Now moving back. Makes the catch. Side retired. Phillies get a couple on. Score just 1 run on 1 hit. 1 misplay at third base by Vientos. We go to the bottom of the 4th at Citi Field. Philadelphia up 1-0 on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers. You wouldn't recommend to anybody to load the bases every single time and get out of it. Somehow, Suarez has been able to do that twice. And now we'll see Marte, Taylor, and Alvarez here, bottom 4. Mets chasing 1. First pitch. Pops the glove outside corner. A sinker strike, and it's 0-1. Marte, Taylor, Alvarez are 7, 8, and 9. Second time Ranger Suarez seeing these guys, and nobody's up in that Philly bullpen. 0-1, a little bit high. Breaking ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. The other subplot of this, too, is that deep down in both of these managers' minds is Game 5. 1-1. Fisted foul to the right, over the dugout and into the lower seats downstairs, 1 and 2. And so maybe with even just the smidgest of leads, Rob Thompson is thinking, well, maybe I'll be able to save at least 1 more arm, 1 more inning. Potentially, not just for tonight, but for Friday. 1-2. Chop foul on a protect me swing from Starling Marte. Just got a piece of that fastball. That's 1 and 2 still. Starling walked his first time. Did not come around to score. Again, he was stranded at third base. Sways the bat over the plate. Marte's had a pretty good postseason so far. Here's the 1-2. Just missed in tight with a fastball. 2 and 2. And again, his 36th birthday. I wonder if even these guys who make millions, they get the email from HR. Happy birthday. 2-2. Breaking ball fouled straight down at home plate. It stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now for Marte, he's had a lot of postseason experience. He's been there with the Pittsburgh Pirates a couple times. Been there with Miami. And with the Mets, and of course he was in a Mets uniform 2 years ago when the Mets dropped a potential clincher to the Padres in the wild card. Suarez nods yes. Here's his 2-2. Breaking ball fouled down the third base line toward the Philly dugout. Stays 2 and 2. So Suarez still snapping off a lot of these curveballs low in the zone. Have a lot of top-down 12-6 type movement. Pitch up and in. 3-2 on Marte. And again, Taylor is on deck. He had a base hit his last time. Pretty purple and violet sky overhead here at Citi Field. Bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 Phillies. Payoff. Strike three called inside corner. A perfect pitch at 91. And that is the first of what is 7 strikeouts. The first one for Suarez, that was not a curveball. He simply pinned a 91-mile-an-hour fastball to the inside corner. So let's bring up Tyrone Taylor as we take a look at some scores brought to you by the New York Lottery. Play the new scratch-off games for your chance to win. Pitch. Taylor takes a breaking ball strike. 0-1. Gambling prop, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. How about the Detroit Tigers? They shut out Cleveland today, 3-0. Here's the 0-1. Flight in the air toward right center field. Castellanos sliding over from right, makes the catch in the gap. 2 down. 6 Tigers pitchers combined on a 6-hitter. So that means now back-to-back shutouts for the Tigers against Cleveland. And you think about those two teams and their makeup. Cleveland's bullpen was basically the best in baseball. The Tigers have outpitched them. Tigers now lead the series 2-1, a chance to finish it off in Game 4. Here's Alvarez, first pitch. That's lined in the air towards center. Marsh in a couple of steps, has a beat, makes the catch, side retired. A 1-2-3 inning for Ranger Suarez. 1-0 Philadelphia after 4 from Citi Field. Quintana's going to come back out, and it's weird, Howie, there's that taste in your mouth, right? The Mets had 2 early opportunities, didn't score, and all of a sudden Philly's up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, you just feel the inevitability of what's happened since taking place when you miss opportunities like that. But Quintana's got it to just 1-0 Philadelphia as he faces Weston Wilson to begin the 5th inning. And the first pitch on the way, a check swing, but he goes around at a high outside fastball. Strike 1 to Wilson, who flied to right his first time. Brandon Marsh on deck, and then Kyle Schwarber. And Quintana with a right leg kick delivers. Swing and a miss at a changeup away. And quickly it's 0-2 on Wilson. Now, Ranger Suarez has rallied beautifully after those first 2 innings. And for the Mets, there is the specter not quite as large as that which existed for Mike Scott and the Astros in 1986, but there is Zach Wheeler looming Friday. The 0-2 to Wilson, a fastball taken high, 1-2, and I think the Phillies would consider that they would have a decided advantage if they could send Zach Wheeler out on full rest to go after the Mets on Friday in a series-deciding game. Here's the 1-2 to Wilson. Breaking ball is low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the opener of the series, Wheeler did his job limiting the Mets to 1 hit and no runs through 7 innings. 2-2 to Wilson. Fastball outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. They were able to draw 4 walks. Force Wheeler's pitch count up over 100. I think it was 115. But he'll have full rest if he goes Friday. Here's the payoff pitch. Wilson lines it in the air to left center. On the run, Taylor. He'll get there, and he makes the one-hand catch. 1 man away in this 5th inning, which is sponsored by ELEC 825, building our future. And sure sounds like if the Mets do get to Friday, that Kodai Senga might well reprise his Game 1 assignment and have lots of backup. Luis Severino would be on regular rest. Severino, having pitched in Game 2 on Sunday, would be on his 5th day. So here's Brandon Marsh, left-hand batter, grounded to first his first time, takes breaking ball high for ball 1. Of course, the Mets don't want to see that scenario evolve. They would like to take care of business tonight, but they trail 1-0. The Phillies have only had 1 hit. Their run was unearned because of the Vientos error. And the 1-0 pitch to Marsh, a fastball over for a called strike. And the count 1-1. Brandon Marsh with a decidedly ZZ top look in the batter's box. Their suit doesn't even begin to pay it justice. The 1-1. Swing and a foul off to the left out of play. And that settles at the back of the field level seats. So it's 1-2 as we come to you live from the Bob Murphy broadcast booth, proudly presented by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly. Fans up, waving those towels. 1-2 to Marsh. Clock winding down. Here's the pitch. Fastball in there, strike 3 call. He got him with a sinker at 90 miles an hour. And Quintana has his 5th strikeout. So 2 men away, back to the top of the order. And Kyle Schwarber, who has struck out twice. Vientos, the third baseman, far off the line, almost halfway down to second with Schwarber up. And Quintana's first pitch hit him. He came right in and hit him with a changeup in the back. And the Phillies get a 2-out base runner and a dangerous hitter, Trey Turner, coming up next.
Well, this has been a season for Quintana where there's one thing that's been a little bit different is that he's hit more batters than he's ever had in his previous 12 years up here. And I think it's just simply how he's trying to attack differently with his stuff and trying to command the inside corner here to a very tough lefty. And he certainly commanded the back of Schwarber's tricep there. But now the Mets get the bullpen up as a base runner reaches. Reed Garrett has started to throw the righty.
Second time he's been up today, and he was up twice yesterday. So here's Turner now, right-hand batter. And Quintana to the belt. Long set, now the pitch. Swing and a miss, change up away. And the count 0-1. Quintana hit 11 batters during the regular season. That was 5th most in the National League. Just put Schwarber on with 2 out. Alonso holding against him. Vientos deep and near the line at third. The 0-1 pitch. Swing on another foul off to the right of home plate. And Quintana ahead 0-2, and that'll get the crowd re-engaged to their feet, waving the towels. The real flags, the ones atop, in this case I'll describe the left field stands, they're angling in, and you can feel it here in the booth. The breeze blowing in on our faces. 0-2 the count. Quintana holds the set. Now the pitch. Fastball outside. Again, he hit the target as Alvarez was set up away with the intention of getting Turner to go after the bad ball, but he didn't chase. So 1-2. Taylor a couple steps the other way in center. Quintana ready. Now the 1-2 to Turner. Breaking ball swung out and missed, strike 3. Got him with a curve, side retired. 6 strikeouts for Quintana. No runs, no hits. A hit batsman, 1 left, middle of the 5th. Phillies 1, Mets nothing on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your... The way he struggled in those first 2 innings. The Mets left the bases loaded in the first. Suarez threw 30 pitches in that first inning. They left the bases loaded again in the second. But as we start the 5th, 79 pitches thrown by Suarez facing Francisco Lindor. And the first one is a curve in the dirt, ball 1. It's the Phillies 1, the Mets nothing. The Mets have not had an answer for all of the opportunities they've had. But now Suarez settling in has retired 5 in a row. And the 1-0 to Lindor. Fastball down the middle for a called strike. It's 1-1. Vientos on deck. Nimmo to follow. Phillies have the bullpen up again. They'd had Jeff Hoffman, the righty, up earlier. The 1-1 waved at and missed. He chased that curve away. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And as they get deeper into this game, the Phillies can now adopt the mindset that, well, wait a minute, Hoffman's been really valuable late in games. He's essentially been an 8th inning guy for them. 1-2 the count, now the pitch. Lindor pulls it towards third, fair ball. Base hit going down the line towards the left field corner. Lindor on his way to second. Wilson stumbles in the corner, holds onto the ball now, and then just flings it into third, and Lindor stays at second with a leadoff double. Well, for a moment, it appeared that Weston Wilson was going to lose total control as he tried to control that carom in the left field corner. But obviously Lindor, picking up his third base coach Mike Sarbaugh, not in position to take a chance on third base with nobody out. So he's at second. The Mets have a leadoff double from Lindor, and Mark Vientos coming up.
And once again with 2 strikes, Suarez tries a curveball that is inches from the dirt. Lindor goes down and makes contact with it and just tucked it fair inside that third base bag.
Now here's Vientos. He is 2 for 2. First pitch to him is taken on the outside corner, a curve, 0-1. Mark in the postseason is now 12 for 26. He is 9 for 14 in this series. He no doubt has that error on his mind, which allowed the only run of the game to this point to score. And the 0-1 is a curve in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. And yet, despite the flexibility as we get into the middle innings that Phillies manager Rob Thompson has with a 1-0 lead, it is Hoffman who is back up in the Phillies bullpen.
He's been up since the second inning. Been throwing all night.
1-1 the count. The pitch to Vientos, swing and a miss as he chased a changeup away, and the count 1-2. And it seems like the Mets have chased more and full marks to Ranger Suarez for the great curveball that he's had. I mean, let's make that the headline here. But the sidebar is that the Mets have probably chased against him more than they have perhaps in the entire postseason at this point. Here's the 1-2 to Vientos. In the dirt, the breaking ball down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I think Rob Thompson is able to live on the edge himself, not going to the bullpen yet, because the bullpen has been horrible for Philadelphia in this series.
And yet it was such a strength of theirs
Absolutely.
during the regular season.
13 runs in 9 innings. So he's going to stick with Suarez, even though Ranger has been on and off tonight.
This is more the first half Suarez than the second half as Ranger takes a disengagement, stepping off the rubber. As we mentioned, Suarez, an all-star, 10-2, 2.27 over his first 17 starts, but then 2-6, 6.04, and the 10 starts thereafter, owing in part to some back problems. 2-2 to Vientos. Here's the pitch. High with a fastball, ball 3. Brandon Nimmo, a left-hand batter on deck, and then you get into right-hand batters for the Mets, so it may be that Suarez has Vientos and then Nimmo, and then perhaps Hoffman. 3-2, now the pitch to Vientos. Breaking ball swung on and fouled. He just barely got a piece of it. Same thing.
Suarez threw it for a strike this time. It would have been in the zone at the knees, outside corner. But more than that, Vientos was flailing, leaning way out in front. Pitch still did what Suarez wanted it to do.
So 3-2 the count. Lindor leading from second. Here's the pitch. Swing on another foul going to the backstop. The Phillies won, the Mets nothing. The Mets have out-hit the Phillies 5-1. As we mentioned, 1 for 5 to this point with men in scoring position. That all came in the first 2 innings, leaving 6 aboard, 3 in each of the first 2. Here's the payoff pitch. Outside ball 4. Vientos fouled a couple of close ones off and then takes the curve for a walk. And the Mets have first and second, nobody out. Brandon Nimmo, the batter. It was Nimmo who hit with the bases loaded, 2 out on the second and bounced out to first.
I'll tell you, this has got to be it. Lefty-lefty, which favors Suarez, and this matchup lifetime has favored Suarez. But if Nimmo continues this, they have to go to the bullpen and Jeff Hoffman. They have to.
Sure would think so. That's the 4th walk allowed by Suarez. Mets baseball is brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Contact a dealer for a great deal today or visit tryhondadealers.com. So here is Nimmo. 1-0 Phillies. Lindor at second, Vientos at first, nobody out in the 5th. First pitch, fastball in tight, ball 1. So Suarez now at 92 pitches and undoubtedly facing his last hitter, or as close to undoubtedly as you could put it without being the one who makes the decision. Bohm is even with the bag at third. The outfield is straight away. The 1-0 pitch. In for a called strike, a sinker. It's 1-1. I mean, this is excruciating in terms of what it's taking for the Mets to get anything done against Suarez, who has given them so many chances but keeps slamming the door in their faces. 1-1 now the pitch. Swinging a little pop-up foul outside third. Bohm getting chased near the dugout. It's on the dugout roof, and it doesn't count when you play the carom cleanly, as Bohm did with his bare hand. Just a foul ball, but now a ball and 2 strikes.
Ground rules, house rules, it's not going to count.
Nope.
Not on this block.
94 pitches thrown by Suarez to this point. Bohm is backed up a bit at third now. Middle infield, back in double play depth. Nimmo hit it on the ground last time. That's what Suarez wants here. The 1-2 pitch. Check swing, breaking ball in the dirt. Actually a changeup. And it's 2-2. Some of these pitches are tough to spit on. And Nimmo just did there. Pete Alonso waiting on deck. This crowd waiting to let loose. And they haven't had the chance. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a drive deep to right. It's going to hook foul, I believe. He got out in front of it, got it elevated deep and into the corner down the right field line. Nimmo gave it a ride. Remember how many times late in the regular season Nimmo flirted with long home runs into the Coca-Cola corner? That one wasn't as far.
Wanted to build a higher pole. Well, this time around, maybe he wants to build that pole toward the concession stand.
2-2. Here's the pitch. Fastball in there, strike 3 called. He got him at the knees. Nimmo caught looking one man away, and that's going to be the last pitch thrown by Rangers Suarez. And what he has done to this point, tantalizing the Mets with opportunity, has been equally, if not more so, frustrating and somehow satisfying to the guy who's going to take the ball from him now, Rob Thompson, and give it to Jeff. And what for the Phillies is an elimination game. Mets have been so frustrated by curveballs from Suarez in particular. Will now try their luck against Jeff Hoffman, who was part of a terrific late innings relief corps for the Phillies this year. But Hoffman got into the opener of this series in Philadelphia, faced 3 batters on Saturday, gave up the lead, wound up the losing pitcher, 2 hits and a walk. He's facing Pete Alonso. And the first pitch, fastball foul back to the screen, 0-1. And that's 97 with sink. And it's a different look than what they saw from Ranger Suarez. Never mind the fact that Hoffman is right-handed and Suarez left-handed. So Alonso has singled, infield hit, and walked. Lindor at second, Vientos at first, the 0-1. Swing on a foul ball rolling over by the Mets dugout on the first base side. And Hoffman quickly ahead here, 0-2. The thing of it is with Jeff Hoffman, sometimes guys find roles that make them very valuable when it was not the role they were predicted to have had as big leaguers. And Hoffman's one of those. 0-2, now the pitch. Breaking ball outside, 1-2. He was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays, even though he had just had Tommy John surgery. But that's how highly thought of he was when he was drafted. First round pick, was supposed to be a starting pitcher, and the Blue Jays thought he'd be a stud. Well, he never really broke through as a starter, but he's found his way into a very dependable late inning role with the Phillies. Something like what Michael Kopech has done with the Dodgers, originally with the White Sox. But right now, the Phillies leading 1-0 here in the 5th. Lindor at second, Vientos at first. 1 out. Hoffman ready. Long set. Still holding. Now the pitch. In there, strike 3 called. He slipped a slider over the inside edge, and there are 2 men away.
I really think there, as the clock was going down and Hoffman was looking at Lindor, Lindor took an extra bounce. I think Pete got maybe a little messed up by that rhythm. It was a little off. That's exactly what Hoffman wanted. It was a change of cadence as a pitcher out of the stretch with guys on, and just fooled Pete. Had him off balance and shaking his head.
So they were first and second, no out. Now they're there with 2 out, and here's Iglesias. First pitch, swing and a miss. Chasing again, slider away. He has struck out twice in this game, and he struck out against a guy that he'd been 6 for 8 against coming in, Ranger Suarez. But Iglesias chasing more lately than we've seen the rest of the year, and never more so than in that first inning when he batted with the bases loaded, 1 out, and struck out 1, 2, 3, chasing. 0-1. Now the pitch, high with a fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. J.D. Martinez waiting on deck. Bohm is deep at third. Marsh, couple of steps the other way in center. 1-1. Lindor bouncing around again. Hoffman deals. Swinging a little number out in front of the plate towards the mound. Real Muto has it. Fires to first in time to get Iglesias. Side retired, and the immense frustration felt by these fans as the New York Mets once again have a great opportunity and come up with nothing. Leadoff double, a walk, and then 2 strikeouts and a ground out. And at the end of 5, it remains who drew a 1-out walk in that inning. In fact, I have the exact crowd figure, courtesy of Mr. Majkowski, and it's just about what we told you. But first, here is the first pitch to Harper. Swung on and fouled back to the screen, 0-1. The paid crowd, 44,103. I don't know what the gills are, but they're packed to him. 0-1 the count to Harper. He also struck out in the first inning. Quintana's only allowed 1 hit, and that was to the on-deck hitter, Nick Castellanos. Now the 0-1 pitch. Fastball outside, I guess.
Looked like a good pitch.
Well, James Hoy thought otherwise. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Harper, feet spread wide apart. Quintana basically straddles the rubber. Now delivers 1-1 and missed upstairs with a sinker. 2-1 to Harper. Reed Garrett and David Peterson are up in the Mets bullpen. Mets would prefer, in a perfect world, not to have to use Peterson mid-inning. Here's the 2-1. Harper lines one to right. That's going to be in for a hit, and it's headed towards the wall. Marte on the run, picks up the carom on the warning track. Harper to second, and he'll pull in there standing with a leadoff double. Bryce Harper, who hit it hard, gives the Phillies a man in scoring position, and that's going to be it for Jose Quintana. Carlos Mendoza is on his way to the mound, and I would imagine he's going to go to Garrett here with right-handers due up for the Phillies. This pitching change hit batsman. So Nick Castellanos, who doubled for the only other Phillies hit, will be coming up here. The injury update brought to you by the Rothenberg Law Firm. If you're injured in an accident, the game plan is simple. Just go to injurylawyer.com. Nothing new on the Mets' attempts to get Jeff McNeil a few swings in the Arizona Fall League, but his status up in the air for any future postseason series this year. Castellanos also fouled out along with that double. And Garrett, the winning pitcher in Game 1, delivers. Swing and a miss at the split, 0-1. Garrett pitched 2 scoreless innings on Saturday. And was the beneficiary as the Mets broke through in the 8th inning with a 5-run inning to take the lead. Jeff Hoffman is in the game now for the Phillies, wound up the losing pitcher. 0-1 the count. Garrett sets. Harper bouncing off of second. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside, broke a nice play on the backhand on the breaking ball by Francisco Alvarez. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Didn't matter if he had the one leg out to the right or he was in the crouch. That was all hands right there for Alvarez.
1-1. Iglesias trying to keep Harper close at second. And Iglesias will drop back into position as Garrett delivers. And it's fouled straight down at home plate, so another split. And the count 1-2 with Alec Bohm on deck and then JT Realmuto. All 3 of them, including Castellanos, right-hand batters. Mets fans, when it comes to heating efficiency, Peerless Boilers and Pavilion Tankless Water Heaters are in a league of their own. So go to peerlessboilers.com for more info. And remember, Peerless Boilers are the world's best-built boilers. 1-2. Towels waving, maybe not as vigorously as they were earlier. 1-2 to Castellanos. Garrett holds the set. Harper moving off second. The pitch. Breaking ball outside. He went with a sweeper. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The former Tiger, Red, Cub, Nick Castellanos. Rather outspoken guy, colorful player. And now Garrett steps off. So Reed Garrett ready to go again with a count 2-2 on Castellanos. Viento's very deep at third. Harper way off the bag, and the pitch is split in the dirt, 3-2.
Well, Harper was going to go there. He had such a big jump. Vientos is playing back, and Harper knows he's a valuable run, but if you could take 90 feet, you'll take 90 feet. I was surprised. You probably would have been there pretty easily.
It's risky with nobody out, of course.
Definitely.
Vientos aware, but still deep, which gives Harper the chance for a huge head start. Iglesias trying to keep him close. Garrett ready. Now the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. Got him with a split. One man away.
It's a good pitch right there from Reed Garrett. I'll tell you, Castellanos just didn't believe Garrett was going to throw that again because Reed had spiked so many of them in the dirt. 3-2, you're going to throw that pitch? And he did. Castellanos dropped down to a knee. You could tell he was just mentally beat by that decision by Garrett.
Well, now Alec Bohm, who was grounded to third and reached on a fielder's choice. 1-0 Phillies. Harper at second, one out. We're in the sixth. Garrett spins, throws to second, and it caroms off of, I believe, first Harper and then Iglesias. I think it might have nailed them both. But in any event, it stayed right on the infield near second base, so Harper stays where he is, and the Mets in some ways pretty fortunate there.
I would call it the Vientos ball at third that we saw at the end of the regular season here where the ball just bounced up. But tell you what, that throw gets away. That ball's into center field, and Harper is on his way to third. But it did hit him in the back, popped up, hit Iglesias, and well, Jerry's here tonight. One magic loogie.
You bet. You can't come and say hello. What's the matter? So now, Bohm waiting. Garrett with his first pitch. That's a strike at the knees, a cutter. And the count, 0-1. Jerry Seinfeld, as you know, a huge Mets fan. Has a suite here. He's joined us in the booth on a couple of occasions. 0-1 to Bohm. The outfield around towards right. Again, Harper dashes off a second, now cuts back, and the pitch to Bohm is inside. A split in the count, 1-1. That time, Harper was moving back towards second base as Garrett delivered the ball. Garrett working very hard here, trying to keep this a 1-0 ball game. Phillies out in front. Big gap in left center and down the left field line, too. 1-1, the pitch to Bohm. Low and away with a sinker, ball 2. Well, Garrett has thrown 9 pitches. 5 of them have been out of the strike zone. But he did manage to strike out Castellanos. He's behind a good RBI guy here, Alec Bohm, 2-1. Garrett delivers. And it missed inside, a split, 3-1. Again, first base is open here. JT Realmuto, now the right-hand batter, is on deck. At times, hitters this year finally made an adjustment where they just basically spit on the splitter. What'll he throw here behind 3-1? Bohm waiting, Garrett delivers. Swing and a miss at a sweeper.
Swung at ball 4.
Down and away out of the strike zone. Now the fans with a little more oomph behind their towel waving. As now there's one out and Harper at second. 1-0 Phillies in the sixth. Garrett sets. 3-2 to Bohm. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 4. He went with a split and missed badly. It was not close. Missing down and away. The Phillies now have runners at first and second. Jeremy Hefner on his way to the mound. Garrett has to face one more batter here. That's Realmuto. And then Bryson Stott, a left-hand batter, due up. And David Peterson, who's had a lot of time to throw, should be ready now if the Mets want to go to him in the bullpen after Realmuto.
Now, all of a sudden, David Peterson, his name has popped up as a very important high-leverage arm. And the reason for that is because the Mets have not really trusted Danny Young. And we say that because we haven't even seen Young in this series. He's the only lefty out there at lefty reliever. And so David Peterson, who was really good down in Philadelphia pitching in relief in game 1, feels that he may be the guy to get out of trouble should that arise, and he seems to be ready for the guy on deck.
Might have been a totally different situation had Kodai Senga not been ready to go. And again, there's every possibility if this goes to a 5th and deciding game Friday that Senga, just as he did in game 1, would start. So here is Realmuto. Outfield around towards right against the right-hand batter. Garrett's first pitch. Spins in for a called strike, a cutter. And it's 0-1. Realmuto has walked fly to right, so he's 0 for 10 in the series. Oh, with Garrett Love, an infield ground ball here. See if he can get two and get out of this inning where it is at 1-0 Phillies. One out, runners lead second and first. The 0-1. Down and in with a sinker. So 1-1 to the Phillies catcher, JT Realmuto. Missed a little time late in the year with a knee problem. Garrett Stubbs, a left-hand hitter, is the backup to Realmuto. 1-1 to JT, former Marlin. Garrett delivers and misses low and away with a sinker, ball 2. It's not been put in play yet against Garrett. Struck out Castellanos, walked Bohm. And if the fielders are not as locked in, pre-pitch and all pitch as ever, it's got nothing to do with the ball not being in play. There's something else going on if that's the case. Here's the 2-1. That's in for a called strike, a cutter. And it's 2-2.
That's funny. It's 16 pitches for Garrett. It feels like this top of the sixth has lasted for an eternity right now. Every single pitch so important after that leadoff double by Harper.
They last a little longer even if he gets Realmuto with Peterson ready in the bullpen. And left-hand hitting Bryson Stott due up next, and now Garrett steps off. The right-handed options off the bench, if the Phillies would make a move, would be Hayes, Rojas, and Sosa. I would imagine Stott would stay in there, but that's for later. Right now, it's 2-2 to Realmuto. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul. He just did get a piece of a split. And again, that secondary lead from Harper at second was huge. Not that he was going towards third, but he was probably at least a third of the way down there as that pitch was being delivered. So 2-2 to Realmuto as the tension builds. Nervousness exemplified by less than full decibel voices. Chanting nonetheless. 2-2 to Realmuto. Garrett delivers. Swing and a foul into the mid of Alvarez, strike 3. It's been a project for Reed Garrett, but I think he's done after 3 batters. Strikeout, walk, strikeout, and with 2 men out, runners at first and second, and the Phillies leading 1-0. David Peterson will come on, and this pitching change is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play the newest scratch-off games for a chance to win. Opener in game 1 of this series, Peterson went 3 innings. That was on Saturday. So he's working on 3 days rest here after beginning an inning twice out of the bullpen. Now he comes on mid-inning, a different thing for him, facing Bryson Stott, left-hand batter. And the first pitch, fastball is low, ball 1. And David going right to his ear because he might indicate either a malfunction or I think it's just a matter of adjusting it so that he can hear properly because he's ready to go. Runners lead second and first, 2 out. The 1-0 taken low, 2 balls and no strikes. It sure seemed as though he had ample time to warm up based on what relief pitchers generally need. Now, this is different for Peterson, different routine, and he's coming in during an inning rather at the start of one. 2-0 to Stott. The pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball up the first base line. It's a fair ball. Fielded by Alonso. Steps on the backside. Retired. Peterson gets the 3rd out. And the Phillies strand 2 in the 6th after Harper's leadoff double. 1 hit. 2 left. Middle of the... Mark Vientos, Sarah. This is one of those games. Hardly a textbook game, but it's brought to you by Malloy University. And Malloy will think about your future in a new way. J.D. Martinez leads off against Jeff Hoffman. And the first pitch on the way, a fastball fouled straight back. And the count 0-1. Consider a couple of things here. The Mets have lost each of the last 4 potential postseason clinchers at home since Game 7 of the 2006 National League Championship Series at Shea Stadium. You know how that ended, right? The 0-1 on the way, taken high, 1-1. Yes, that was Carlos Beltran taking strike 3 against Adam Wainwright, both of whom are here today. In fact, Wainwright and Carlos Beltran have become very good friends. They're close. That happened when Beltran became a Cardinal. The 1-1 to Martinez, lined up the middle, base hit past the diving stock, going into center field. J.D. Martinez leads off the bottom of the 6th with the Mets' 5th hit of the game, and it'll bring up Starling Marte on his 36th birthday. And the other thing about that Beltran-Wainwright relationship, after Wainwright got Beltran looking at that famous curveball to end the 2006 National League Championship Series, a few years later, the Cardinals signed Beltran. And Adam Wainwright called Carlos and said, well, how do you want to handle it? Because you know we're going to get a lot of questions here. Here is Marte, first pitch, swing and a miss at a slider, 0-1. And Carlos said, hey, look, you know, all the credit to you. You threw a great pitch. You did your job. I didn't do mine. That's it. Let's move on. And not only did they move on, they became close friends. 0-1 to Marte. Hoffman deals in the dirt, gets away from Real Muto. Goes to the backstop. Martinez to second. And here we go again. Runner at second base. Nobody out.
Tell you what, Rob Thompson again, the reason why he kept Suarez in the game so long is eventually Rangers Suarez settled in late after a lot of early traffic. But he again had Jeff Hoffman up in the second inning. The Philly bullpen has just lost the trust of Rob Thompson. He doesn't know where to go right now. Now Hoffman right now, man, tying run at second base. And then the Mets side, you've got to drive the run in this inning now.
44,103 kingdoms for a big hit. 1-1 to Marte. Hoffman delivers, and it's bunted hard towards third, but it goes foul. Now, Bohm was playing back, and Marte thought maybe he could take advantage. And remember, Bohm has been indecisive a couple of times on plays at third base in this game. And Marte looking to exploit all of that, just bunted it foul, and now finds himself behind in the count, 1-2. He was not giving himself up there, I don't think.
No, he was trying to surprise the Phillies, for sure.
Absolutely, you're not giving up an out here. Nobody out, 1-2 to Marte. Martinez leads from second, he's not fast. And the 1-2 pitch, low and away, ball 2. Tyrone Taylor on deck, then Francisco Alvarez, both right-handed batters. Nobody throwing in the Phillies bullpen, nor the Mets pen for that matter. 2-2 to Marte. Had a huge hit yesterday. Does he have another one in him tonight? Hoffman ready. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a foul down the right field side, out of play downstairs. Marte fighting against Jeff Hoffman, now 31 years old, from Latham, New York. Mentioned the Blue Jays, made him a first-round pick, bounced around a bit, went to the Rockies and the Reds, but he's found a home with the Phillies. 2-2 to Marte. Hoffman sets. The pitch, inside and hit him. Starling Marte has been hit by a slider. And the Mets have runners at first and second, nobody out. I guess Marte will take that behind in the count. And so now Tyrone Taylor will be the batter as Carlos Mendoza flashes signs to third base coach Mike Sarbaugh.
Now the Phillies bullpen, their problem early in the series was they got hitters to 2 strikes. Remember, we noticed the Mets just kept getting hits with 2 strikes because the Phillies wouldn't expand the zone, wouldn't force the Mets to chase. Well, Hoffman, he gets Marte to 2 strikes and tries to expand the zone and misses way too far inside. They don't know where to put the ball at 2 strikes now.
Well, Taylor is a guy who does expand the zone, as you know, a very aggressive hitter. He's 1 for 2. He has basically been slumping, though. First pitch pulled on the ground towards third. It is a foul ball. Oh, boy. Right down the line. I don't know. From here, it looked like it might have gone over that bag fair.
I think it started foul and then went back what looked like fair and almost like a screwball. Wow, right over the line to the outside of the chalk.
Yep, foul ball.
John Tampain right there wound up and pointed emphatically toward that third base side. Man, that ball had action to it, had English on it. That's why it was so nerve-wracking there.
Oh, so that's why this is so nerve-wracking.
So one of the main reasons, one of the many in this moment right now.
That just adds to it. It's getting to the point of being numb. I mean, how many chances can you have? 2 for 10 with men in scoring position. Here they are once more. First and second, nobody out. Phillies 1, Mets nothing, bottom 6. 0-1 to Tyrone Taylor. The outfield around towards right. Bohm does not yield too much of that line at third. He's even with a bag. Hoffman holds the set at the waist. The pitch. Check swing. The pitch up and in. Did he go? No, according to Carlos Torres at first. And the count 1-1. Almost sounds like an air pump with everybody trying to find the air in their lungs right now. 1-1 to Taylor. Hoffman sets now the pitch. Ooh, he holds the swing at a breaking ball away. He started those hands but clearly held back, and it's 2-1. Sometimes that's not easy for Taylor, who again is a very aggressive hitter.
So it makes him so good when he does find a fastball like he did his first time up. A base hit back in the second inning on a heater.
2-1 to Taylor. Hoffman sets. Here's the pitch. Outside it goes to the backstop. Bounces away from Real Muto. Both runners move up. 3-1 to Taylor. Second and third, nobody out.
You just don't see games like this. The Mets are once again, they're ball four away from bases loaded again. And how many times you get a chance like that in the playoffs? They've already had one in the first and in the second. Another golden opportunity here in the sixth. But again, they have no runs yet. Still opportunities present themselves.
The Phillies closer, Carlos Estevez, is in the bullpen. The Phillies infield is up. Not all the way, but about 3/4. The 3-1 to Taylor. Swing and a grounder foul by the Phillies dugout. It's 3-2. Hoffman now at 21 pitches. Now we're getting to the point where if you're invested in this emotionally, this is stinking torture.
Yes, it is.
I mean, let's lay it on the table here. 3-2 to Taylor. Hoffman delivers. Swing and a chopper foul off his leg. Mets have had chance after chance in this game. They have out-hit the Phillies 6-2. The Phillies on an unearned run lead 1-0. And again, the closer for the Phillies, Carlos Estevez, is throwing in their bullpen.
Hoffman, who faced two batters in the fifth, has more than seen the minimum, so this very well could be the last batter.
That's with free swingers here, though, and Taylor and then Alvarez. 3-2 to Taylor. Hoffman deals. Outside, ball four. The bases are loaded with nobody out. And what to do if you're Rob Thompson? Francisco Alvarez will be the batter. And how much more can you take?
Sure, if Rob Thompson could, he'd say, hey, Ranger, can you come back into the game like you got out of those situations in the first and second? And a body does emerge out of the third base dugout. It's not Rob Thompson, but the pitching coach, Caleb Cottom, coming out to talk to everybody on the infield mound.
Well, again, you've got a free swinger in Francisco Alvarez coming up, who has struck out and flied to center. Then Lindor, then Vientos. We'll pause here for station identification.
This is Odyssey Mets Radio on WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
Howie Rose, Keith Raad with you at Citi Field. Game 4 of the National League Division Series. The Mets lead 2-1. The Phillies lead right here 1-0. But the Mets, for the third time in this game, have the bases loaded. They left them that way in the first. They left them that way in the second. And now here they are once more. And this is the first time that they've had the bases loaded with nobody out. So, Francisco Alvarez, who's got to stay under control in this plate appearance. He does chase. The infield is in. The first pitch. Breaking ball is high. Ball one. And Hoffman kind of snapped his arm in frustration after his follow-through. That pitch did not wind up where he wanted it. Alvarez in the postseason just 4 for 24. Outfield around towards right. They're fairly deep. 1-0 now the pitch. Check swing. Did he go? He did at first base. Carlos Torres charges strike one. And that's what we're talking about with Alvarez. That pitch was out of the strike zone. He started the hands. By the time he tried to pull back, it was too late.
He certainly went around. That was more than a swing for Alvarez. Hard to even make that a close call.
1-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Sinker low inside. Ball 2. Martinez is the runner at third. He's not fast. Marte still with reasonably good speed at second. Taylor good speed at first. 2-1 to Alvarez. Hoffman ready. Here's the pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, top of the zone, strike 2. 2-2. Hoffman now about to throw his 28th pitch. Nobody out, bases loaded, 1-0 Phillies, bottom 6. Hoffman's 2-2 to Alvarez. Breaking ball hit on the ground toward short. Turner up with it. He throws home, gets a force. No return throw by Real Muto. Alvarez to first, and there's one out. And the Mets fail to cash in. Well, Alvarez hit it on the ground, and to some extent you say, well, at least it's only one out. We know one other thing. Carlos Estevez is going to come on in. As the Mets now 2 for 11 with men in scoring position. Rob Thompson on his way to the mound, and this pitching change is loaded. Now, yesterday, Estevez threw 26 pitches, working 1 inning. And I don't know whether or not there could be any carryover from that today. That was kind of a big pitch count in a game that was getting out of hand, with the Mets eventually winning 7-2. And so now Estevez, who was picked up from the Angels during the season, took over the closer's role. Well, this is an assignment that he normally wouldn't get in the 6th inning, but for the Phillies, not a normal game. It's an elimination game for them. They've lost 4 in a row of those. And Lindor, I believe, called time. And so he's already used his timeout. Estevez, a 31-year-old, hard-throwing right-hander out of the Dominican Republic. The infield is in, all the way in, all 4 of them. Lindor 1 for 3. He's batting left-handed. The first pitch, outside, ball 1.
Well, lifetime for Lindor. He's seen Estevez across the last few years. Just 0 for 4 with the strikeouts. So a little sample size, but Estevez has won it all 4 times.
Turner and Stott up the middle around the infield grass. And the 1-0 swung on and missed. A 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and the count 1-1. Quite simply, Carlos Estevez at this point is being asked to save the Phillies season. It's the 6th inning, and the Mets trying to break through desperately. The 1-1 up and in, ball 2. They are 2 for 11 in this game with men in scoring position. The outfield is straight away. Bohm is even with a bag at third, so Marte can't get much of a lead down the line. 2-1 to Lindor. Now the pitch. Swing and a drive towards the gap in right center. It's pretty deep. It's back near the wall. It's gone. It's gone. Francisco Lindor. He may have just outdone himself. He has hit a grand slam into the Phillies bullpen in right center field. The Mets are leading by a score of 4-1. They were famished for the big hit all night, and Francisco Lindor just provided a feast. Mets 4, Phillies 1 here in the 6th inning.
Now you can feel the energy of this place. They were waiting, standing since the 1st inning when the Mets had the bases loaded. And finally, the dam bursts here for this fan base in the 6th.
They could chant MVP all night, and it may not make a dent in the voting process, but who cares? Francisco Lindor has done what no Met has been able to do tonight, and that is find the big hit. A lot of game to go. We're in the 6th inning, but that big hit had been so elusive, and they do it against the Phillies closer. Carlos Estevez, 4-1 New York.
That's the 2nd ever postseason grand slam by a Met. Fonzie had one way back when in '99 against Arizona, and we just saw a 2nd one from Lindor.
Here is Mark Vientos, right-hand batter. Estevez delivers and hits the outside corner with a slider, strike 1. Well, for Lindor, it is his first home run of the postseason. And now it's in that discussion we've been having again. The 0-1 to Vientos fouled back 0-2. I mean, I don't know where this game will end and where the season will end and, where Lindor's heroics will end. But it's right up there when you think of his biggest and the Mets' biggest as a franchise. And the 0-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. Vientos chasing a fastball up at 99. 2 men away.
It's still on the flip side. Unbelievable to see this Phillies bullpen, what's become of this. I mean, the strength of this team, guy by guy, you figure, well, hate to see this guy, hate to see that guy, hate to see this guy, and all of them have come undone in this series.
Estevez threw one right down the middle to Lindor. First pitch to Nimmo, taken down and in, ball one.
Pitch was 99 in and 110 out. Lindor was all over it, right down the middle of the plate.
They're still chanting MVP. The 1-0 taken outside, 2-0. So the Mets with a 4-1 lead here. And David Peterson in the game. Remember, he's on 3 days rest, having pitched in relief in game 1 of this series. 2-0 to Nimmo. Swing and a miss at a hard slider down and in. And it's 2-1. Well, when Alvarez bounced into that fielder's choice and they got the force at the plate, it was a continuum. And boy, did Lindor put a stop to the story. The 2-1 to Nimmo hit high in the air to shallow center. Stopped the second baseman out. Marsh the center fielder in and makes the one-hand catch. Side retired. The Mets sent 7 men to the plate. They scored 4 runs on 2 hits. No errors. No one left. And at the end of 6, it's the Mets 4, the Phillies 1 on Odyssey. Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Let's go Mets!
Mendoza, he'll stick with. Weston Wilson leads off for Philadelphia. 4-1 Mets in the 7th. Pitch. Wilson takes high, a sinker for ball 1. Mets bullpen needs 9 outs. Wilson, Marsh, then the top with Schwarber. Righty, lefty, lefty. Will wind up the 1-0. Hit hard on the ground to third. Backhand stop by Vientos to his feet. The strong throw picked out by Alonso. What a play. Oh, how many times this year have we seen Alonso? Beautiful backhand picks, and he rescues one from Vientos. A strong throw. 5-3. 1 out in the 7th. Now that's to bring up Brandon Marsh as we come to you live from the Bob Murphy broadcast booth, proudly presented by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly. Mets ahead 4-1. Lefty to lefty, pitch. Marsh shows bunt, pushes right through it and misses. Strike 1. Vientos was crashing in from third. Alonso's playing deep against the lefties, so it really was Vientos' ball. But Marsh just missed the bunt. They'll wind up in the 0-1. Just missed outside. Tried the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Peterson got out of what is probably the turning point of this game. That 6th inning where the Phillies had 2 on. The 1-1. Marsh hits a ground ball toward the middle. Iglesias to his right. Fields in the backhand. Flips it to Lindor. But Lindor just eats it. And Marsh is safe at first on an infield hit. And as that ball got flipped from Iglesias to Lindor, this loud place was silent for just a split second, thinking, oh my gosh, are we about to see what we're about to see? But
yeah, maybe if Mo Vaughn was running down the line.
Exactly. There's not that much magic in this place these days. So anyway, Marsh is aboard. And we go to the top of the order now for Kyle Schwarber.
He's just the first slow guy I can think of.
Madge just asked Howie, why are you taking a shot at Mo Vaughn? Pitch to Schwarber, swing and a miss. High heat inside corner. The count 0-1. Well, Mo Vaughn, you got to go back to the later days of Shea. You know, it's funny coming into this series, finding out how tough it is to win at Citizens Bank Park. It's truly one of the hardest places in the playoffs to ever play. 0-1. Schwarber takes down low from Peterson. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's the best of any club with at least 30 games. You got to play a lot of games to kind of qualify for this list. So Citizens Bank Park's number 1. Shea Stadium, number 2. The 1-1 to Schwarber. Bouncing ball to second base. High hop for Iglesias. Throw to second 1. Lindor to first. Double play. 4-6-3. Inning over. David Peterson gets the sinker. Sinks Schwarber and the Phillies in the top of the 7th. The Mets hold a 4-1 lead in Game 4 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. The 7th inning stretch is brought to and slam. So Hoffman is charged with 3 runs. Estevez is charged with 1. Of course, the Lindor swing. And it's unbelievable to just see Jeff Hoffman's, who's pitched a lot in this series, his ERA in the playoffs, 40.5. And here's Kerkering facing Alonso. Pitch. Bouncing ball pulled down third. Fair ball along the line. Disappearing down into the corner. Alonso around first, heading for second. Wilson fishes it out and fires in. Leadoff double Pete Alonso. Here come the Mets. And the offense again. The dam broke in the 6th after countless innings of a ton of base runners and no big hit. Lindor got the grand slam, which could leapfrog this offense into something late because, of course, the Mets offense would love some insurance with 6 defensive outs needed against Philly. Here's Iglesias. Runner at second. Shows bunt. First pitch is down and in. He swings his body out of the way of that sweeper. Fans oohing and ahhing. It really wasn't that close to Iglesias. It was closer to the strike zone than it was to Iglesias, but it's ball 1. Corners in, middle infield tight to second. Pitch. Down and away goes to the backstop behind Real Muto. Alonso can walk to third on wild pitch by Kerkering. Another wild pitch thrown by this bullpen. It's incredible. Hoffman had 2. Kerkering has 1. And now Kerkering, who's also been snake bitten by this bad playoff bullpen, is in trouble here. The entire infield comes in. 4-1 Mets. 2-0. Downstairs, ball 3. Now Kerkering in this postseason, his second ever postseason. Last year was his first major league year. He's also struggled this year. 3-0. Swing and a miss at a sinker. It looked like it was ball 4 in. Now it's kind of been the tune tonight for Jose Iglesias, who's stretched the zone more than we've ever seen this year. 4-1 Mets. Pitch. Breaking ball low and in. Ball 4. Iglesias is on with a walk. First and third, nobody out. And here is J.D. Martinez. And there's kind of one, maybe a little key to what the Mets had to start the 6th, which was down 1-0. The inning that they eventually hit the grand slam is that Carlos Mendoza stuck with J.D. Martinez as a righty against the righty new pitcher, Jeff Hoffman, instead of platooning Jesse Winker as the lefty in the DH spot against the righty. Well, it worked. Martinez had a leadoff single. Chance to drive in a run here. Pitch. Swing and a miss at a ball that landed way outside the zone, and the count 0-1. A lot of chase for the Mets tonight. Kerkering does have that nasty side-to-side sweeper. First and third, nobody out. 0-1. Way outside. This time Martinez lets it go, and it's a ball and a strike. Scoreboard update brought to you by Food Bazaar. Shop locally, global. Food Bazaar Supermarket, foodbazaar.com. Right here tonight, bottom of the 7th. Mets lead the Phillies 4-1. A step off and a look, but no throw. And Antoine Richardson is turning, the first base coach for the Mets, toward Carlos Torres to say, is that a ball? Well, Carlos Torres said no. Iglesias off first, Alonso off third. Pitch. Fouled away sharply down the first base line, and it's 1-2. Matt Strom, another one of those Phillies relievers that during the year you'd fear, but has struggled in the postseason, is getting loose in the Philly bullpen. Kerkering comes set. Pitch. Bouncing ball, foul down third, bending over a crouching Alonso, who took his lead in foul ground. This little chopper. Of course, the runner at third base, going to take his lead in foul territory for that exact reason. The ball hits him, it's a foul ball. If he's in fair territory that hits him, he's out. Infield in, halfway. Runners lead, 1-2. Outside sweeper, 2-2 on Martinez. Yanks and Royals scoreless, bottom 3 out in Kansas City. A series tied at a game apiece. Detroit shut out Cleveland today 3-0. Tigers have a 2-1 series lead. Kerkering set. 2-2 pitch. Outside and low. It's full. Coming up later tonight, Padres up 2-1 in that 5-game series. At about 9:08 Eastern, they'll face the Dodgers at Petco. Here it's 4-1 Mets, last of the 7th. First and third, nobody out. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss at a sweeper, down and away. Martinez strikes out. The Mets have struck out a lot tonight. They certainly have a 4-1 lead. But they have struck out now 11 times.
That's a big run at third base.
Now Martinez, again, so good at just putting the ball in play in those moments. And even if you hit into a double play, you couldn't bring the run in because the Phillies are playing back enough where they may want to turn that double play. So Martinez is back in the dugout. Alonso still at third. Iglesias at first. And here's Marte. Marte last time up got hit by a pitch. He's actually been on 2 out of 3 times tonight. 4-1 Mets. 1 out. Bottom 7. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Had a big sinker at the knees at 96. 0-1. Phillies still playing about halfway. See if they can get the run at home or turn a double play on a good ground ball. Kerkering set his pitch. Breaking ball, check swing, but it hits the outside corner anyway. James Hoy, the home plate umpire, called it a strike, and it's strike 2. And Marte takes his time. And thank you to our sponsor, Veterinary Emergency Group. Go to VEG.com to find the location nearest you. Kerkering ready. 0-2. Here's the pitch. Down and out with a sinker. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Tyrone Taylor is on deck. Stott near second. Turner is near second as well. The second and shortstop. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. High fastball. Down goes Marte. So really right now the hero for the Mets is Francisco Lindor, who came up with the bases loaded and hit a grand slam. Talk about the only hits the Mets have had with men on base. It feels like the only one they've had all night.
I think one of the problems here is that if the Mets don't get this in, you've given the Phillies some hope. You've given them something even resembling momentum. They've got to get this run in.
Pitch to Tyrone Taylor. He swings and lofts a high fly ball. Lazy fly right center. Castellanos over, lines it up, makes the catch, side retired. Well, the Mets will bring a 4-1 lead into the 8th, but they just left 2 more men on base. They've left 10.
To some extent, reinvigorated by this opportunity. Still 4-1 New York. We'll have Turner up against Peterson. Evan Peterson has faced 4 batters. Trey Turner is 0 for 3. Turner flied to right, grounded to short, struck out. So Peterson, the left-hander, with his first pitch, and it's in for a called strike, a curve, 0-1. Don't forget to stay tuned after the game for the Verizon Mets postgame show. Verizon, the network New York City relies on. 0-1 to Turner. Peterson delivers and misses upstairs with a fastball, and it's 1-1. Mets still with Vientos at third. They haven't gone to their defensive platoon yet. The 1-1 on the way, missed outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. That's because Vientos is due up third when we go to the 8th inning. So again, such as the situation was a couple of days ago in Philadelphia, they want him to get another at bat. The 2-1 fastball in for a called strike. It's 2-2. So the fans now beginning to come to their feet. 2-2 to Trey Turner. Peterson delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a slider. 1 man out. And that'll bring up Bryce Harper the way you like to face him in a situation like this. Up 3 with 1 out, nobody on.
And again, that like an asterisk. You never like to face it, but this is the best of the situations if you can get one.
The Power Report is sponsored by Bill Vince's Bridgewater Acura on Route 22 in Bridgewater, New Jersey, and amounts to 1 Lindor swing for the Mets tonight to this point. Vientos way off the line at third. The outfield straightaway. First pitch on the way. Harper hits it on the ground to the left side. Cut off by Vientos. Throws to first in time. 2 men away. Peterson's got the first 2. And that will bring up Nick Castellanos. Edwin Diaz is up in the Mets bullpen. As of the moment, I wouldn't think there would be any reason to consider anyone other than David Peterson the way things are going here. It will be an interesting conversation in the dugout if Peterson can get through this inning. Castellanos 1 for 3. The first pitch to the right-hand batter, line to left field. That's a base hit. So Castellanos picks out a curveball and has his second hit of the game. and brings up Alec Bohm, a potentially dangerous hitter. He's just 1 for 12 in this series, and Jeremy Hefner is on his way to the mound. As a time buy, I'm sure, for Diaz.
Yeah, Peterson again, when he came on, he got the final out of the 6th inning with runners on base. So came in the middle of an inning in crunch time and got out of that. Then in that 7th inning, clean inning, good start, now has a lead and got a double play ball. So again, the thing with Peterson that's different in these moments as a reliever as opposed to a starter is, do you have the stomach for the late innings? Well, all year, David Peterson as a starter has dealt with traffic. He's gotten a ton of double play balls, and so he's not really scared of this moment. The only question is, it's the 8th inning of Game 4 of the NLDS. Will that feeling grow big in his mind?
Then with Diaz throwing now, if another runner gets on, then you've got a decision to make. Do you go to Diaz? It's Bohm, Real Muto behind him. Now left-hand hitter Bryson Stott. Mets 4, Phillies 1. 2 out, top of the 8th. Castellanos at first, being held on by Alonso. David Peterson sets his first pitch, and Bohm takes high, ball 1, a fastball. Remember, Edwin Diaz, under most circumstances, you would say, well, good, just get the ball to Diaz. But he has struggled lately, and in his career, especially against the Phillies. 1-0 to Bohm. Peterson deals. Called strike, a changeup. And it's 1-1. So there's a lot that goes into this, I'm sure. Peterson trying to make the decision that much more difficult. Vientos is deep at third, not too far off the line. The outfield around towards right against the right-hand hitting Bohm. 1-1. Peterson delivers. Swing on a line drive on the ground. Foul down the first baseline. Oh boy, to the naked eye, I wasn't so sure about that any more than I was that ball down the third baseline earlier.
I'll tell you what, everybody in the Phillies uniform, including Alec Bohm, who I think just got tossed. No, he's going back down to, sorry. He got to first, swiped at the bag, said something to Carlos Torres, and Torres almost dismissed him. But Bohm's going back to the bag. Bohm running out of the box had a good look at that. We haven't seen a replay yet, but that was awfully close. Man, it just bounced foul, though it started fair. Very close.
1-2 to Bohm. Peterson ready. Bohm now just settling in. Pitch clock moving. Peterson comes set. Castellanos leads from first. Alonso holding. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt, blocked by Alvarez. Castellanos does not attempt to move from first. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Peterson rubs up a new ball. He's thrown 22 pitches to this point. Last having worked on Thursday. We'll check that Saturday. 2-2 the count to Bohm. Now the pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball over the mound out toward short. Lindor's got it. Steps on second side. Retired. For a moment you held your breath hoping that Peterson would either catch that ball or just have it go past him without a deflection. Well, it didn't deflect, and the Phillies are done in the 8th. Giancarlo Stanton doubled in a run for the Yankees in the first inning. And they are still batting. Or is that the 4th inning now? I can't read that. Anyway, the Yankees lead the Royals 1-0 in the top of the 4th inning. And so Francisco Alvarez will step in against the left-hander Matt Strahm. Strahm been with those Kansas City Royals and the Padres and the Red Sox. Alvarez 0 for 3. First pitch on the way is a fastball in tight, ball 1. Remember, Alvarez batted with the bases loaded and nobody out on the bottom of the 6th inning. It was 1-0 Phillies. Alvarez with the infield up, tapped to short. Turner threw home for a force play. And then came Lindor. The 1-0 taken down and in 2-0. And after Alvarez's plate appearance is finished, you will hear the roar when Francisco Lindor heads to the batter's box. 2-0 to Alvarez. Strahm delivers. Swing and a bouncer foul down the third base line. 2 balls and 1 strike. Strahm appeared in each of the 2 games of this series. Gave up 2 runs in a third of an inning when the Mets were scoring 5 in the 8th inning in Game 1. Gave up another run in Game 2. The 2-1 to Alvarez. Swung on and missed. A cutter away. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Strom rolls the ball back into the Phillies dugout, wanting a new one. And these fans ready to let loose, but there's still a lot that's got to happen. Alvarez has now taken his time. You know, when we go to the 9th inning, I'm sure the Mets will have a different defensive platoon in there. Sure, you'll see Iglesias at third. Outfield changing with Bader in center, Taylor in right. 2-2 to Alvarez. Swung on and popped up foul. Going to the seats. On the first baseline. And the question is, will they just give it to Diaz to start the inning? 3-2 to Alvarez. Strom delivers. Outside, ball 3.
Now Peterson's had 23 pitches, and he hasn't seen everybody. The only guy he hasn't seen is Real Muto, but Stott would follow who he's seen, and then Wilson. But we're talking about a starting pitcher here, a guy that doesn't mind seeing, of course, the lineup a few times through.
3-2 to Alvarez. Strom ready. Here's the pitch. Swing on a fly ball to left center. Easy play for Marsh moving up, and he makes the catch. 1 out. Listen to this. Francisco Lindor coming to the plate. People joining in to my girl. Francisco's got 2 of them, plus his wife. First pitch to Francisco, line left center, moving over Wilson, slides forward and makes the catch, holding on. Nice play by Wilson. As Lindor, after the grand slam his last time up, hits one hard to left center, but it's caught by Weston Wilson, and the crowd resumes its salute of Lindor. He's certainly been the Mets MVP, whether he's the league's or not, and now Mark Vientos will be the batter. Speed Report, powered by Verizon, the network New York City relies on. Well, Vientos might not have foot speed, but he has quickly become rather prominent in this postseason nationally. 2 more hits today, 2 for 3. Right-hand batter, first pitch. Taken outside, a slider, 1-0.
The last time these two saw each other, Vientos and Strom, 9th inning, Vientos took him deep to left center field of the bank.
1-0 the count. Strom delivers. Swing on a high fly ball to center field. Easy for Brandon Marsh. Now back a couple more steps. Makes the one-hand catch. Side retired. The Mets go in order at the end of 8. The Mets 4, the Phillies 1 on Odyssey Mets Radio, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers. 2. So Edwin Diaz, who was in game 2 of this series, struck out Kyle Schwarber. Remember to get out of the 7th inning. At that point, the Mets had a 4-3 lead. But then the Phillies out to him. 3 runs against him. And here's Real Muto. First pitch, slider outside, ball 1. He has really had trouble getting that slider to behave the way it did a couple of years ago. The velocity's been 97, 98, the 1-0. Fastball inside, ball 2. The one thing that you worry about with Diaz right now is walks, too. He is immediately behind 2-0. Real Muto 0 for 2 of the walk, and the pitch back, a fastball inside, ball 3. David Peterson went 2 1/3. Gave up 2 hits, no runs. And this will be a 3-0 to Real Muto. It's down the middle for a called strike, 3-1. Real Muto, Stott, and Wilson due up here in the top of the 9th inning. Diaz trying to save the game. The Phillies trying to save their season. The 3-1 pitch. Way outside, ball 4. Went to the slider and missed. And immediately the Phillies get a base runner. They need just 1 more to bring the tying man to the plate.
You know, I certainly understand going to Diaz here for Carlos Mendoza, as he said all year. If we want to get to the place that we dream of, Diaz has to be the guy that has to be right to get him there. So you go to your guy here in the clincher, try to build him up, try to get him the last 3 outs, and simply just put away the Philadelphia Phillies. And a leadoff walk is some stomachs turning here at Citi Field.
Bryson Stott, left-hand hitter, steps in. Diaz comes set. His first pitch. Outside and low, ball 1. And the problem now is, what's your best option behind Diaz? I mean, Peterson's out of the game. Stanek went over an inning yesterday. They're already getting somebody up. You knew they wouldn't wait long. The 1-0 on the way, in, tied a fastball, ball 2.
So this I don't get. Why have somebody up if you knew you're going to go with your guy? That's usually not a great look for a closer to feel they're already getting somebody up behind me. That doesn't help if you're pitching.
Here's the 2-0 pitch, way outside and high, ball 3. I mean, we've seen this too often this year. Right now, you look at what Diaz has done. He has thrown 7 out of 8 pitches out of the strike zone. He has imploded before at times like this. The Mets cannot afford an implosion here. Can Diaz recover? 3-0 to the left-hand hitting Stott. The pitch. It's in for a called strike. A fastball at 99. It's not about the velocity, it's about locating. The outfield straight away. Iglesias at third is even with a bag. Now Diaz sets at the waist. 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. He's walked 2 in a row. And Jeremy Hefner makes an emergency trip to the mound. And now the Phillies are feeling it. Now they've got their invitation. You're getting down to the bottom of the order. Weston Wilson is due up. I believe it's Cody Clemens is going to hit for him. Brandon Marsh is a left-hand hitter behind him. And then you go to Schwarber and Turner. And the beauty of the 8th inning from Peterson is that he basically worked through what you would consider toughest outs, the power of the Phillies batting order. But now Diaz has walked back-to-back hitters, and the cuticles are being ground down to the nubs here at Citi Field.
Yeah, you go with Peterson and bring him out for the 9th. You feel his momentum, and that's something that Carlos Mendoza has done all year, right? Go with a guy who's pitching well and go with your gut. Why change the momentum? But maybe he thought, well, I don't want Diaz to come in if Peterson faces a few batters and gets into trouble. Put Diaz in the middle of trouble, just have him start the 9th. Well, Diaz has started the 9th, and he's put himself in a lot of trouble.
And right away, the tying run at the plate, and Cody Clemens. Clemens does have a little bit of pop. Although he hit .219 during the regular season, he did have 5 home runs.
By the way, the one guy that feels the air sucked out of this building more than anybody is Edwin Diaz. He personally has to be the guy to put the energy back into this place as the closer.
So he's getting ready to face Clemens. First pitch off the inside corner, ball 1. Well, to say it's gotten sticky would not even begin to describe it. The 1-0 pitch, that's a called strike, 1-1. At this point, the thriving player of the game is Francisco Lindor, brought to you by Thrivewell Infusion, New York's premier infusion and injection center. Saving lives drip by drip is at ThrivewellInfusion.com. 1-1 to Clemens. He's batting for Wilson. The pitch, way inside, a slider, he almost hit him in the leg, 2-1. I honestly don't know if Clemens gets on, if Diaz would get another batter here.
I wouldn't. Not the way he's throwing. 13 pitches, 10 out of the zone, just 3 strikes.
2-1 the count. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 2-2. And at times his fastball can be unhittable. He's thrown 3 of them among the 4 pitches to Cody Clemens. Two and 2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He threw the fastball by him. And that's something maybe Diaz just hasn't done frequently enough. 1 man away, meaning throw that fastball by hitters. Too often he's gotten behind because he's used his sliders so much.
And as hitters say, I'm only one swing away, right, for getting my swing back. Well, for a pitcher, for Diaz, he blows a fastball by, gets a swing and miss. That could be a turning point for his confidence.
Brandon Marsh, who has power, left-hand hitter, takes a fastball on the outside corner. Strike one call. And remember, Kyle Schwarber is on deck. He of the immensely powerful Schwarbers. The 0-1 to Marsh, way outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Ryan Stanek is warming up in that Mets bullpen. It's Stanek that got up.
1-1 to Marsh, the outfield straightaway. The infield set back. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. The fastball again, it was down. And it's 1-2 to Marsh. Well, the crowd continues to wave the towels. Bryce Harper with a bat in the dugout, still several hitters away. Mets don't want to see him. 1-2 pitch, swinging a high fly ball to center field. Backing up his baiter, he's got plenty of room. He makes the two-hand catch, 2 men away. Tagging at second, going to third, Real Muto. Mets don't care about that. He slides headfirst into third, even though the throw goes to second. So now 2 away, and here's some drama. Kyle Schwarber will be the batter against Edwin Diaz.
Now you remember the last time these two guys saw each other, Schwarber struck out in a huge moment in that 7th inning. And Schwarber lifetime 0 for 8, 7 strikeouts against Diaz.
So, Edwin Diaz has come back to get 2 outs after walking the first 2. The crowd nervously on its feet. Alvarez out in front of the plate, flashing some defensive signs. In no hurry to get back in position. Got the mask up on top of his head. Now he pulls it down, and Diaz is ready to go. Schwarber can turn the heat around. But you heard the numbers. The first pitch, runner goes from first. Fastball over a called strike, 0-1. Actually a slider. Going down to second on defensive indifference is Bryson Stott. So that takes the force off. 0-1 to Schwarber. Now the pitch. Outside with a slider. 1-1. Trey Turner is on deck. The Phillies draped over the railing of their dugout, as are the Mets theirs. Diaz snaps a new throw back from Alvarez. And Schwarber settles in. Iglesias off the line at third. Lindor over towards the second base bag and deep. 1-1 to Schwarber. Diaz deals. Swing and a drive foul. Got out in front of it. Shot it deep into the upper deck in right field. You don't see many foul balls hit up there. But now Diaz ahead 1-2. The towels are waving. The hearts are pounding. And Diaz, who generally doesn't take much time, uses a little of it after Schwarber took his. Diaz on the first base side of the rubber. Rests the glove on his left thigh. Looks into Alvarez. Diaz still staring in. Comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Put it in the books. And to the New York Mets, California, here we come. They have defeated the Philadelphia Phillies 4-1. They take the National League Division Series in 4 games for the first time ever in their 16th year at Citi Field. The Mets are celebrating a series win. They are out first at the mound, then the rest of them out at second base. Why are they out at second base? Because they're pouncing on Francisco Lindor, whose grand slam gave the Mets the 4 runs that turned this game around in the 6th inning. And full marks to Edwin Diaz, who rallied. It looked like he was a batter away from coming out of the game after he walked the first 2 batters in the 9th inning. And the New York Mets are going to the National League Championship Series. They will face either the San Diego Padres or the Los Angeles Dodgers beginning on Sunday night.